Dubsky. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Welcome back to the ESA Cup Week 3. We are now going through the Group C. I'm here with my boy, Naj. I'm still slandering names. Nothing's changed there. I'm in a onesie, and Naj is surrounded by Pokemon. We've all got a little bit of a Pokemon theme for this upcoming Halloween. Naj, how are you doing, and what do we have going on here for this first match?
I'm doing fantastic, and well, we've got a bit of a show on our hands. At the moment, we are going to be watching a underrated game by the looks of things. So it's going to be underrated versus Tracker Clan. Little pun there, play on the words. But either way, one of these teams making their debut, which is underrated clan to the league. They made their debut obviously in week 1 and 2, but it's week 3. It's the first time I'm going to be casting them. But they've shown like relatively decent promise coming through Group C so far. So we're going to be seeing if they can carry that forward and actually see if they can come out of here with a win against a team like Tracker Clan, who are currently positioned in 3rd as they have managed to get themselves a couple wins, but unfortunately underrated with 2 overtime losses so far.
Yeah, close games, but unfortunately underrated has not been able to pull one in so far, but we could see a change of pace this time around. They're not out of it as there's still plenty of time and they still have 2 points, so if they can pull a win here, that could be enough to throttle them possibly into the 3rd position depending on their round differentials and whatnot. But as far as Tracker Clan goes, we're seeing so far a social vote of 50-50, so looking like we'll have pretty much anyone's game this time around. But let's get into the rosters real quick, see what players we can be expecting this time around on each team's lineup. Starting with Tracker Clan, we've got Captain Hidan, and then Egan, Dyuko, Chizui, Eden, Fergu, and Yanis. And for underrated esports, we've got Anvi, Manix, Geov, Cyborg, Mitch, Frankie, and I'm gonna butcher this so bad. Soji.
I think it's Cookie. I think it's just a weird way of spelling Cookie. But either way, as we were saying before, these teams coming into this, underrated is 100% the underdog. And I mean, Tracker Clan, they've been in this league before. They've done their best, and I mean they, as much as had a very rocky start in the previous season, actually had like a pretty good standpoint later on in the cup. And I think that as we sort of see them develop and see them come into fruition throughout the game, I think the more time they're given, the better they're going to perform. We should have a social vote if we are able to pull that up on screen. And we'll be able to see where these guys actually are for everybody else. But if not, we also do have the production vote.
Yeah, it did show up for a second, I believe, and it was about 50%. But oh, there we go. And it looks like
most of the production have just ignored it. So we see that I'm guilty. I've voted. I've gone for the teams that I am familiar with, for no other reason than the fact that yes, I'm just familiar with them. But I do think that MDF, well, they're just like, obviously they're going to be the second game, but MDF are one of those teams that are like very much considered to be one of the best on console. But we'll quickly jump over to the map bans and see sort of where we're standing. Looks like we are going to be playing Chalet. Final ban going towards Tracker Clan. So
yes,
it's gonna be one of those. We're on one of the top 4 ideal maps for a lot of these teams. Like the big 4 are always kind of a big thing for these teams. But it looks like we are going to just be going straight into the match itself. We're going to be seeing these bans, and realistically on Chalet, it's one of those maps where the bans can be a little all over the place, but more than likely they're going to be very informational oriented. Maybe we'll see a Thatcher go off the cards and a Jackal They're sort of like your standard bans, yes, but like, oh, gridlock. That 100% threw me off. That's one of those bans that's very much like not like a target ban, but one that they just don't want on the board because it's very commonly played at the moment. And I respect that. It's one that hasn't really been banned in any of the previous matches from what I've seen. But with her recent buff, she is going to be very good. Nomad goes off the cards as well, so it looks like both of these teams are going to be trying to play heavy on that flank and see if they can try and get some big plays ongoing throughout this match. On the defender side, more than likely with Gridlock and Nomad going out, we're going to see some of these flankers soon follow. Things like Solace, things like Azami, Fenrir, things like that. People that are a bit more of a nuisance on the flank. And I mean, seeing Solace go out isn't at all a surprise.
No, Solace has been so strong these past few seasons, and it doesn't look like that's going to be changing anytime soon. But I did want to comment on the Gridlock. On top of, like you said, with getting rid of that flank watch, she's also really useful for destroying utility, like that common infamous second floor Blue Hall deployable shield setup that a lot of teams have been running over these past few weeks. It's just a really good counter for the amount of utility that the attackers have. They're going to have to commit more operators towards that goal if they want to accomplish that, or go for something more horizontal. She's also really useful if you're dealing with, a second floor or a first floor window hop into bar and gaming. We have seen that a few times with surprising effect, a decent amount of the time. So it is a bit atypical as far as what standard bans go for, but it is not unreasonable.
But yes, I mean, I do agree. It's gonna be one of those matches where we do see a bit of back and forth from these teams because of how underrated are so far, and also how sort of progressive the side or progressional the side of Tracker Clan is. They're gonna try and warm up later on into this game, so we'll see how things come into fruition.
Yeah, we'll just have to find out in just a second how that's going to play out so far. Starting off with a bit of a second floor library take, pretty standard here. Goyle's going to hold them back just a little bit, but only going to provide time for rotating here to get more cover over library if they choose to commit to that full cover. Wondering how Fenrir will play out here. Oh, and there's the first pick for the match. Mitch going to be able to take Eden off the board here already so early on. Now starting to get more presence routed up towards the second floor. We could possibly see a push into the double window with the positioning so far up against Mitch. But so far, no additional contacts at the moment here. Do have one holding outside the double window, but I don't think the intel's out on his location yet. That could prove troublesome here on a potential swing here. But otherwise, pretty tame as the teams plays a bit more safe, trying to get more intel. They're going to spot out Mitch here. They know where he is here, but are they going to be able to take a fight and start to get more of that first floor control? That remains to be seen, but we do have one starting to close in. There's the swing, but Mitch going to be able to take that one. Here comes one over by the hall. Does some serious damage onto Fergie, who's still alive, but ultimately gets down by Deyuko. Now having that first floor control, but with a person disadvantage. Is that really worth it, though?
You have to be very happy with that on the side of that Goyo. That Goyo needs to be happy with that because, I mean, coming out of that on a sort of upstairs hold, you're playing in bar as the Goyo. You manage to secure yourself 2 kills, very, very early. It's just set yourself up for the rest of the round. You've managed to clear out both of these entries, and I mean, in favor of the side of Tracker Clan, they do still have their entire execute still available to them on that Thatcher and Thermite right now, as they are going to be trying to get this wall open. Thatcher nade goes off. The Fenrir are going to be activating his gadget on K9 door, and now going to be playing very aggressively on this half wall, see if he can get the breach. Thatcher going to be trying to pop some shots through, but not able to really find anything for himself. Bravo tries to take the swing onto the door, but gets got out by that canister there, and almost manages to find that kill onto Thatcher, but Thatcher finds it for himself, manages to get close enough to be able to see through that smoke, and we'll have to see how they try and adapt to this on the defensive side.
Yeah, right now, Fanky playing really aggressive. You're trying to hold off Yanis for as long as possible, doing a little bit of damage, but not going to be able to get out. Oh, but there's the re-swing to take Yanis out. They've already pushed into off this side, but they do not have diffuser. 2v2. Either gonna have to go for picks or find a diffuser. One person left, all up to Dayuko. Gonna have to get Geov out or get this plant down last second. Gonna be able to plant, but completely out in the open. And with the pings out, gonna have to drop the diffuser there.
Beautifully played by the side of Underrated, a team that hasn't actually been able to secure themselves a victory coming forward into the cup so far. So with them actually being able to secure round one, even though that yes, they are on the defensive side on Chalet, being able to secure round one means that they're going to be very confident coming forward into the rest of this game. And I think that especially with Mitch doing so well inside of that bar hold, you're just going to see that same level of confidence and aggression from them more and more. And I think with them going down into the defense on basement, there's going to be a pretty heavy roam presence.
Yeah, absolutely. And the name of the game when it comes to attacking, as usual, is momentum. If you want to get a full clean sweep onto the half for defense, you've got to curb any kind of momentum for the attack. Because once they get one round in Tracker Clan, there's going to be a lot more to follow up until the swap. So that's not only a plus for Underrated Esports here, it's also pretty much a must, especially on a map that's more 50-50 like this. You want to go as long as you can without a round popping out in favor of attackers. Otherwise, it's going to look a little bit ugly onto the half. But then again, it ultimately depends on the synergy of Tracker Clan. Though we have seen a bit of that ability from them to carry that momentum forward. So it's not that beyond reach to say that once they get that first round, there'll be several more to come with it. So that's all on them. But for now, they've got to try to edge some kind of gap into Underrated Esports and pick up around here. We already see Mitch getting a hold onto Solarium, but Eden still able to pick out that headshot despite knowing exactly where both are. That's going to be a major loss on second floor controls. Now the roam presence is effectively gone, rapidly moving in all the way to office, piano. They have the full second floor control here, going for a top-down approach. This is going to make things a lot more easier for them in trying to get onto site. And it looks like right now, everyone's pretty much anchored on site for Unrated Esports. So Tracker Clan pretty much has full reign to do whatever they please. As long as they cut off those main stairs and west main, as we see Eden clearly doing right now, there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Tracker Clan has them cornered here. It now comes down to the utility that they have and their ability to hold those corners, which could be easier said than done. So plenty of time, lost control on second floor. That roam presence just was not there. And with them being down their throat this early on, that could spell trouble here. However, I'm not seeing a whole lot of walls popped open at the moment. So it's very likely they could take advantage of these funnels and cause them a lot of grief here. Trying to get a little bit of damage onto Cyborg here. Heavy hits and damage, but still ultimately able to carry on here. Though granted at very low HP. That could come to bite him hard as Eden still has 2 sets of nades available here. Nitro going out, not going to catch anyone here. The nade goes out, take care of that wall. They're going to have that wall fully opened. And that's just going to be one additional line of sight for Underrated Esports to worry about here. Eden taking some heavy damage. However, we will see the pick onto Anvi getting taken out here. 45 seconds on the clock, 2-person advantage here. Ooh, but the swing from Fanky gonna shut down Dayuko there, as well as Yanis to get Cyborg back in retaliation. Not looking the hottest. Geov taking some heavy damage here, trying to get some kind of aggression, but now down to a 1v3. Fanky's gonna have to clutch out here. Yanis going for the plant, and there you go. Fergu shutting Fanky down from Blue Hall. The collapse just proving too much for Underrated Esports. The Tracker Clan picks up their first round in this game.
Yeah, Fergu just catching him out there as he tries to rotate back in through blue into that wine cellar and basically just saying no ace for you today, sunshine. So it looks like we're going to be moving into round number 3. Even Stevens, we're going to be 1-1 on the board. And I mean, on the side of underrated, the sort of issue with that was like overconfidence. It was just overswinging, coming around onto the earlier side of the round, playing in that bedroom, not really having any backup plan. The hatch was closed. Playing for the peek onto the window where it was quite obvious that he was completely unaware of where this player was actually positioned, and he just so happened to be upside down rappelling on that window, so got himself caught out a little bit in the end there. And now we're just going to be as I said, even Stevens moving into round number 3.
Yeah, and that's kind of the problem with playing basement there, isn't it? Once you have that surround control, it's really hard to fight back as defense without really playing aggressive. They didn't really have a choice. That was because they didn't really have any kind of contingency for when all the walls get opened up. Because on a site like that, that's pretty much the expectation, is you're not going to be able to deny those walls. Everything will get opened up, especially as the attackers start to clamp down onto first floor and get that vertical. There's just simply no way to prevent it. But it's all about how you respond to that situation that makes or break around a defense. And unfortunately for Underrated Esports, Tracker Clan just had too strong of a line of sight, cutoffs, and held their angles rather well there, making it really difficult to make anything happen there.
Yeah, as well, pretty much as you said, it was just super difficult for them to actually be able to do anything, and yeah, they ended up just losing out. So now moving into this round, we do have a bit of aggression onto this big window from Finca. Looks like Eden going to be just playing around with that broken glass right now, but it's like I just wanted to like speak up quickly about the fact that like Jackal was super pointless in the last round. You got that one kill, everyone kind of rotated back to side, but it looks like we've got a kill on the defensive side. They've managed to get a kill onto the Floras. That's big utility denial right now, as they have managed to secure that for themselves. Take the swing onto the window. Thatcher managed to clean that up with the crossfire from the Finca inside a bedroom, and Fergus going to be finding one for himself as the nade goes flying straight over. Almost finds it, but doesn't quite, slightly too far away, moves himself back up the stairs.
Yeah, right now, 4v2, not looking too good. That initial entry costing Tracker Clan heavily here, as they have second floor control with a minute remaining. They do have the time to snuff out these remaining defenders, but they've still got a long ways to go. Oh, but the peak from Yanis not paying off, as Mitch is able to deny that pick from the bomb site. Now with 45 seconds, it's all up to Dayuko here, and with not much for verticality here, no breach charges or anything of the sort, it's going to be difficult taking this, and already suffering massive damage from Mitch, but ultimately finished out by Anvi all the way up on top blue stairs. It's hard to do that much when you don't really have much for vertical or really for control with such a massive numbers advantage.
Indeed. I mean, they played it pretty much clinically there. They managed to maintain their numbers while playing their positions, got themselves away once they managed to secure a couple for themselves. They got it initially down to a 5 versus 4. They obviously wanted more than that, because realistically you want to try and deny the fact that they're going to be playing that vertical pressure, and you want to go back to site and play your angles. So they stuck around, they played their positions, they managed to find 2 more kills for themselves, and they dropped everybody back to site, made sure they were just standing around playing their angles, and were really prepared for being able to deal with the oncoming slaughter. And now we move into round number 3 with, once again, Underrated in the lead.
Yep, currently able to take back and shut down that momentum. Going to be moving back onto what looks to be second floor here. I really don't understand the high emphasis on second floor and basement as of recent. That's been an interesting development that we have seen repeated multiple times earlier in this league. But the difference is Underrated Esports has been able to make it work. When other teams run these two sites frequently, it usually doesn't pay off as effectively, at least not for the defense anyway. So surprising that it's worked out this well up to this point, and that Tracker Clan struggled so much on the second floor for that first floor side take. But I mean, that's kind of what makes it so difficult is, you know, the second floor basically is the other site of a first floor site. You lose that verticality, it's almost impossible to hold on to site any longer unless you're tucking in corners, which everyone knows which corners you're going to be holding in if that's the case. So it's a real risky game to stay on site, and pretty much the halls, which has so many cutoffs, is pretty much your only sanctity at that point. We are going to see some presence over from Mitch here, getting pretty much on the dot, spotted from Deuco here. Now going to be stuck all the way in kitchen as aggression clamps in, and with no other defense to help, they're in a bad spot. And as we see there, Eden taking Mitch out all alone there. Getting that first floor control, going to be helping to deal with any potential nitros from Mitch or anyone else from below, having that control. But they still got to make that upward movement. The intel coming out for the nades. There's one prone. This could be a pit we're seeing here. Ooh, but not quite. Envy going to take some serious damage. And thanks to Cyborg, going to be able to heal off a lot of the damage there. But that ping was just a meter or two closer to the left. That would have been a flat out kill. Not even a down likely. A lot of damage there, but just not quite enough. Do have office wall open, and we got one over by K9. Oh, but here comes the walk-in, at least attempted walk-in from Deuco. Gonna get pushed back over from the walk-in. Envy getting injured here. A few more shots coming out, but nothing quite yet. However, Eden getting that double kill, able to take out yet another. Virgu taking another one as well, taking Fenkyu. Now down to a 2v4. Cyborg looking to aggress onto that plant. Plant is down, able to get Yanis over by the half wall. Retake going pretty well with another pick from Cyborg. Now a 2v2 here. We could see an ace from Cyborg here, but we got one over by main stairs and double window. It's going to be a difficult retake with Deuco now taking out and shutting down Cyborg, but the other one going on to Envy from Deuco as well.
Well, I think all we're seeing is just overconfidence here. It goes back and forth. They play around properly. They secure their kills. They secure their advantage on the side of underrated, and they win. But then the next round, because of how well they played, they get overconfident. They go for a long roam. They throw a player down into the basement while they're playing top floor. That player then gets caught, and you're just kind of like in this position where you're now just down a player from the very get-go, and it's so good. From the side of Tracker that they are trying to play off of that. But it also makes this game very much a tug of war. Like, as I said, that it is going to be very even between these two teams. But I didn't expect it to be even between these two teams because underrated is throwing. Like, you know what I mean? They just need to try and chill a little bit, play their game, stop trying to play this confidence roam, stop taking their ego peaks and just chill. Like, play positions, play your angles, do what you need to do, not what you want to do.
Yeah, and what I'm seeing a lot from Underrated Esports here is a lot of singled out roaming. When they do have roamers, they tend to be on their own with no real fallback or support, and this has been resulting in a lot of problems where they're getting cut off. Underrated Esports' biggest strength going into these rounds is their ability to outright deny the initial entry. When it comes to initial entry and making meaningful progress and destroying the utility necessary to get onto site, Underrated Esports does a really good job of punishing that to the maximum extent. But otherwise, a little bit of damage onto Mix, already peeking out aggressively here. But otherwise, once they get that initial utility clear, that's where Underrated Esports kind of starts to fall apart. But Tracker Clan just needs to stick together and continue to focus out those lone roamers as fast as they can without punishment.
I can tell you right now, this round is an underrated round. They're going to come out of this round with a win because the moment Mitch got into a gunfight and started taking some like real sustained damage, he just backed off. And now he's back on site. You've got 5 people on site. It's going to be a bloodbath over here in the last minute 30. And I can see that this is 100% going to be a underrated round just because of the way it's played, or it should be.
I agree. As long as Underrated Esports does not give free picks onto Tracker Clan, it doesn't swing out unnecessarily, or at the very least plays off of each other when they do commit to the aggression, I think they have some very good odds here because that's what they do really well from what we've seen in the past 4 rounds. And if they can continue to do that and not give Tracker Clan these isolated picks from cutoffs or other kinds of situations, at least not without a hell of a fight, then that's going to be their winning ticket. Because so far, look, we got a minute left and there's still not much push out. Oh, but Eden taking out Anvi with a nade, holding that half wall corner. That only works as little intel there is, but we will see Fenke able to take out Fergu as well. The push out from Piano, they now have Piano control. This could be a major turnaround for Underrated Esports here. However, Mitch able to retake, getting Deyuko out. Now a 3v3, stuck in the same position as before 30 seconds earlier. We see a little bit of peek out from Hasdon. Now with the smokes out as well, 30 seconds remaining, but we will see the swing to take Piano out as well as Eden getting Geov out. And that's the round for Tracker Clan as they are able to turn it out with a clear execute there. They took their timing, absolutely. They took the timing to their advantage, full extent.
Being able to come out on that, well, just being able to come out on top in that round in general is really, really good for the side of Tracker Clan because you've gone from having these rounds where you're able to put down a team that is just ego roaming and actually taking them down when they're not and they're playing serious. They're like playing their strategy. They're sitting around, playing their angles, whatever. And you've still managed to isolate these 1v1s and get your picks. It's very, very good from the side of Tracker Clan. And I mean, as I said, it very much could and maybe even should have been a underrated round. But as we move further into this, let's hope that for underrated's sake, it doesn't start running away from them.
Yeah, in their sake. And the thing I want to point out, because I think this is an important point of isolating 1v1s, notice how in Piano, right, when you had a whole teammate taking multiple fights from double and from the walk-in on breach, there was not a whole lot of pushback. Sure, there was a few shots taken at Hasdom that pushed her back a little bit, but eventually she just walked right into office and was able to swing on Piano from a completely different angle that they should not have been exposed, or Mitch should not have been exposed from really at all. And I think
Thunderbird told him.
Yeah, and I that's why I think it's so important what you say about 1v1s, because being able to force them out like that, even on site, that's really dangerous for underrated esports here. And I think that's an important point to make.
Just being able to isolate these these points of interest here, like being able to focus on these specific positions and force a fight from one, maybe even 2 angles to confirm a kill for yourself is like really ideal for a lot of these teams, because like you can see at the moment they've taken the space they need to. They're sort of hovering around this sort of bedroom side and setting themselves up for it, and then the moment that they're able to, they're just gonna try and maybe get this guy on top fireplace first, potentially then try and go and take the swing onto the player that's sitting around in top blue. But they're just going to be hovering around at the moment, getting the information they need. But they were playing the balcony window beforehand, like the bathroom balcony window, and that's like a really good position for them. And there you go. You've got Dan, who's made his way up those fireplace stairs, manages to find a kill for himself, and then another one comes out, but the Yuko falls to a C4 from Giov, and now we're in a bit more of an even position.
Yeah, right now it's looking a little bit better for underrated esports, but with the amount of control that Tracker Clan has established by wiping out that second floor presence, and especially losing their mirror player like that, Fanky going out so early, it's not looking the best here. This is that case where if you're on the vertical and you're on anchor still alive, you've got to make a move towards blue stairs, towards mudroom. Got to do something. And we do have Geov over by mudroom. That's definitely going to help when it comes to that execute, which is going to have to happen soon. Tracker Clan's starting to run out of time here with 30 seconds remaining. But with that intel coming out, going to get pushed out of blue stairs. And that's just a little less control they have overall. If Hazdan can take this fight. That's going to be huge in favor of them, but is not going to be able to G-up, taking Hazdan out. That's just going to make this execute all the more difficult with 2 picks coming out from Virgu and Yanit. Virgu as well getting yet another pick. The execute clamping down. Warren didn't even get a chance to have his impact from retaking that blue stairs.
I don't know if you noticed that, but Giannis was saved by the finger boost. He was 1 HP after the fact. And that is the sole reason he won that gunfight. And I mean, as much as that could be chalked down to luck, that's insanely good for the side of Tracker Clan, especially now they're coming down onto this defense. They're going around, they're rotating sides, and they're just going to be at an advantage before they've even begun. They're going to be going to this bar game site first, which is a pretty good site for the defenders, in my opinion, because it's one of those sites that has a very versatile defense. It's one that you can change a lot and have your extension be like very different to some others. Obviously, you've got things like this mirror that are going to tell you that she's going to be playing here and this person is going to be playing here. But overall, it's like you can play that man in mud, you can play this man in 90. You can play over towards the Solarium kitchen side for a late round flank. You've got this player on the shield in top blue, as you can just see on the free cam there. And inside of library, you could even have a Wamai in that corner. I know that's a strategy that a lot of people like to use. Just to, like in that library corner there where the face is, just to sort of deny the pressure coming out from these people. And, well, speaking of pressure, Brava comes through, manages to just hack that camera, and is going to be giving a bit of information for her team towards onto that top fireplace area. And Jaeger hasn't quite realized yet, playing that mirror on the top of fireplace.
Yeah, that cam is going to be huge for this second floor take here, knowing exactly where the players are in the mezzanine. But right now, that presence kind of starting to back out. So even still, they at least know that area is for the most part clear. But that's kind of what we've been talking about, is trying to isolate, those positions. And intel like that tells you where you've got a lone player at, is how attackers gain their grounds. You don't want to fight a crossfire because that has so much potential to go disastrously. It's all about how can you force that into a favorable 1v1 as much as possible. And that's what Tracker Clan has done so much. And with their grasp on how to do this, we might see some more aggressive push-up, like there from Eden, able to take one. However, with Anvi getting the refrag, losing the blue stairs control, maybe not so much. Never mind. As right now, Underrated Esports now having that library side control, going for that mezzanine push, paying off. Cyborg going to be able to take Diuko from blue stairs, as well as it's now down to the on-site anchors, try to figure something out here with plenty of time and plenty of utility for vertical here. It's not looking the greatest. Giannis going to be able to get a bit of shots out. Not going to be able to down anyone here, but going to give away his position. They know that he's aggressing by the hatch, and that can create for quite the situation, knowing where one person is and just isolate the other, which is going to be Fergu on this case, pushing out right into the line of sight of Cyborg, and the pre-fire into Fergu as well. Underrated Esports being able to take this first attacking round and having an immediate momentum like they did on the first half. But the problem is, can they keep it though? Defense is one thing, attack is another. And as we saw from the half, they were only able to pick up 2 defense rounds. Maybe Charlotte's looking a bit more attacker-sided nowadays. Well, whether that's the case here remains to be seen.
I mean, it's a map that does tend to be very 50-50. It really depends on the comfortability of the roster. But something that I do want to fall back on is the fact that, yes, they were only able to get 2 rounds. But the 4 rounds that they lost, at least 2 of those are from ego peaking. And ego peaking comes from getting a win previously. So more than likely, I see going back to the same site as a really good idea for Tracker Clan. For the simple reason that you know for a fact that, well, the side of Underrated are going to come into this with some confidence. And if they come into this with some confidence, then they're going to be, well, a lot more willing and capable to take ego swings. and ego swings are what ruined them in the defensive half.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely been a thorn on their side. Looks like we're going to see yet another library take. But honestly, I just, like you said, I feel like they just did not hold on to blue stairs there. Losing that many people over that particular area of vertical, you've pretty much already lost it. You got to fall back. And they just did not do that there. And that kind of set the stage for Underrated Esports to be able to sweep in with such ideal circumstances. I mean, having a 2+ person advantage when you're going to execute on a site like that with a minute remaining, that's a hard situation to play off. And Giannis going right out into the open to the blue angle didn't help anything either when Cyborg took that. They know this one over in the corner here. That's a risky angle from Tracker Clan here, but we've seen plenty of clips where people were able to hold out. So we might possibly see that here, being able to just outright deny that initial entry. Especially, you can't really nade from below because that's where sight is. So there's not as many options of engaging that area, especially when you have someone on the mezzanine. So while risky, it does usually work off. However, Mitch will be able to take Eden out here, going to be able to now isolate that player in the corner. But does Mitch know that he's still there? We're about to find out in just a second as we see one looking to swing here. Giannis trying to possibly take that fight. Oh, but he doesn't. Hasn't able to take Mitch out. Envy with Dioko now with the 3v3. Still trying to hold on to that second floor control as much as possible. But Giannis able to take Geov out.
Oh,
now
damn.
Cyborg. The second floor take has collapsed. It's now up to Fanky here, who's got to deal with 2 people. Able to pop Giannis out. Now has 1 more person before it's just a 1v1. But here comes that side player. That's going to be Fergu taking the aggression onto blue stairs. They know that she does not have the fuser. She's going to have to take this fight here. And here comes the peak taking some heavy damage, but not going to be able to res herself in time as Fergu shuts down Fanky here. Playing a little too out in the open for the shield. That costed her.
Yeah, really well played. Beautiful shot onto the castle there from the Thinker, but unfortunately just not checking their angles. You saw exactly as I said, they were just taking some ego swings. They were really trying to like force the issue. And when they were forcing the issue, they just got caught. And the collateral damage of getting caught is losing. So because they were losing numbers, they were losing man count, they were just falling for these stupid little angles that like they really just shouldn't. And that just sold the entire round for them.
Yeah. And the thing I want to point out as well is on Tracker Clan's, or I'm sorry, on Underrated Esports end, there was a bit of a lack of accountability there and a bit of a, you know, a lack of kind of, well, I wouldn't say lack of team play. That's what Tracker Clan had going strong there. The mezzanine, the library player playing together.
A lack of team play on the side of the attack. Because it's like they had that team play in the previous round, and then they went into last round and absolutely fumbled it because they were trying to take like ego swings. As I said, they were trying to play their own game, take these fights, and you saw it with the Ash that made her way up the fireplace stairs. It was a really good position that she was in, but just chose not to check the entirety of back library, even though none of her team were playing those windows, and that meant that like she just sold her life because of that.
And what I find so interesting is they knew that there was a player over in library tucked in that corner, and Hasden was still able to get away with a pick being there that entire time. The crossplay did help him to sustain that position, but even still, being with that prior intel, not clearing that, I mean, that's not a loss that you want to take unnecessarily, but that's exactly what we saw there. There just needs to be better accountability for prior positions, and like you said, a bit of stronger team play. Underrated Esports just has to lock it up because Tracker Clan, with their defensive positions, whether roaming or anchoring, they've been doing their cross plays rather well, and it's had some massive impact in dismantling Underrated Esports' pushes, pretty much giving them a significant numbers advantage or just outright preventing them from gaining control of one section of the map. And when you outright are unable to gain control of a region, that just makes your push infinitely more difficult as you have less options, and less options means less unpredictability. Speaking of unpredictability, we're going to see Hasdan run up from the main stairs to take out Envy, with Dayuko taking another, but not for Fanky, without Fanky taking a refrag there. Now down to a 3v4 as those crossplays kick in once again, taking a favorable exchange in favor of Tracker Clan here, with one player initiating in favor of Tracker Clan there. We're going to see Fergu able to take G off as well from office side. Now down to a 2v4. We could be possibly looking at match point here. Fanky just trying to find some kind of opening to walk in. Oh, but the timing looks away right when Fergu goes to that pick. Mitch able to get the refrag on Fergu, sitting prone over by office side. Doesn't have diffuser though. It's now all up to her. Still worried about flanks, so it doesn't seem like the intel is quite all there for her to reliably make the moves and the plays that she needs to. With 33 seconds left on the board, she does spot thanks to that shot. She knows that there's one below and there's only 2 people on site for the meanwhile, but unable to force that fight onto the piano shield. That's going to be the Hasdan winning that out for Tracker Clan. Now moving us into match point for this first matchup.
Well, we're now up to this 6-3 mark, and I mean, realistically, I don't see it getting past the 7-4, because even if they do come out of this round with a win on the side of underrated, more than likely in the next one, we're just going to see them ego swing again. So it's like, it's one of those where they've got to really like think about, or they've got to really talk about and reconsider the way they're playing after this match is over, because a lot of the reason why they're losing is because of this like overconfidence, and even if it is like completely unconscious and they're not trying to play that way, they're just selling themselves by trying to take these 1v1s instead of coordinating it with their team and like getting themselves into a position to be able to try and get a pinch maybe, or try and use their utility to secure a frag and things like that. Or even use your utility to filter players to secure frags for yourself. And it's like one round they'll do it, the next round they'll completely disregard all that and try and take a 1v1. They're trying to bait a shield right now. We saw the IQ like just spamming that P9 off into the distance to try and alert the enemy team of a blitz potentially being onside, because that's a pistol that he brings.
Wouldn't that be funny? I didn't know that was a thing that they actually did, try to make players think that they were playing blitz. I haven't really seen that, at least not intentionally anyway.
But it's because Finker's like a big part of the meta at the moment, because of like her getting nades again and things like that. She's one of those operators that is commonly associated with rushes. So people will use like an IQ or something of the like to just spam a pistol off into the distance and make it sound like they've got a blitz to take a rush. But Funky with a beautiful 2K.
Oh,
okay.
I guess underrated esports might not be done after all, because those were 2 nasty shots, even for PC, very clean shots. I mean, that's exactly what you want. Oh, but the headshot from Eden taking out Fanky and evening numbers to back out. I mean, 2 absolutely disgusting shots, just not enough with the current situation at the moment. Still having no real presence at the moment, all still basement, trying to clear out anybody they can from first floor. That's the second floor presence essentially shut down. And with a minute 23 seconds, Envy taking some significant damage here. They're going to have to try to make a move here. Envy going to be able to take Fergu out from the vertical. That aggressive peek from Fergu not paying off, as just a little bit of her head was showing, and that's all Envy needed there to hit that shot. 1 minute remaining. They still got some ways to go if they want to take control. They're going to be going for a horizontal take here, which, considering right now there's not much as far as vertical positioning on Tracker Clan, this could possibly work out, but they don't have wall open. Geo able to take Yanis out. It's now all up to Eden, who's still all the way back in trophy room, but they have a funnel they're going to have to fight through. That peek from Geoff going to give some information as to where Eden is. Going to run right into sight. They have that site control now, and with vertical, it's going to be potentially a problem. Envy still has diffuser. Is going to have to make her way onto site eventually. 30 seconds remaining. They do have the option to rotate out from Solarium, which is exactly what Ian's accounting for right now, but as of the moment, that's not what Underrated Esports is going for. They have site presence, but no one's really planting yet, as Envy still has to get onto site, and there comes the plant. 14 seconds remaining, but Geov able to take Eden, a shot straight from the back. Now, Underrated Esports is looking just a bit better if they want to pull this into overtime.
I'm really hoping, for the sake of Underrated, they try and do that again, bringing themselves into, well, even after losing the first pick, bringing themselves back into the match like that, as they tried to take the vertical pressure, and then obviously with it being thwarted, dropping down and taking that vertical pressure from below, like bringing their way in, and then trying to go for that long flank as well, taking the ram over the top, I'm pretty sure it was, to come down Solarium later on. That would have been an absolutely phenomenal pinch. But they're going to be moving back over to Bar Games on the side of Tracker Clan and seeing if they can get a defense out, squeak it out, and just secure themselves a victory here. But it's like the team play from the side of Underrated was, well, underrated, as it was just so good. They need to do more of that, please.
Yeah, if they can do that every time, that'll really give Tracker Clan a run for their money, because that was a good, really good take. Despite the limited setup that they had, they were still able to force their way in, and with the control that they were able to retake by going basement up, absolutely wonderful. The only thing I'd have against Tracker Clan there was maybe trying to hold on to that vertical a little bit longer, because it showed to have good effect, but once Underrated Esports gave up on it, they kind of did too, and that pretty much put them in a pinch where they had a narrow set of angles to play off of contesting that entry, and it just didn't pay off. We do have one close to the corner. Envy doesn't know. There comes the swing from Hasdan. Neither able to take each other out so far. I don't know how either of them were able to survive that. That was ridiculous. But both still alive, with Library still contested grounds. We do have Cyborg alongside Geov over by office side, going to creep right in. Now start to put a pinch. As long as Envy can stay alive here for Library, this move from Cyborg can really put them on the spot here. All right, we're going to start to see that push from Iban and Fenke getting that wall open. They've got a three-way line of sight on Mezzanine, Blue Stairs, Library. Lot of good angles here. All they need is one angle cut off, and everything's going to start tumbling down for Tracker Clan here. But so far, they're not giving it up. Tracker Clan has not really given them an opening, and that's causing some problems. However, Eden's going to take some serious damage from Library, but narrowly able to survive despite the substantial damage. All it takes is one opening, and that whole Library second floor is going to go to Underrated Esports, but they need to find it. Eden now
That may
down.
well have,
This
that
could
may
be
well
the
have been the opening.
Yeah.
That was like a 3-second reaction time from Envy right there.
It could have been, but it just wasn't. Oh, but the hop-in not going to work well, as Fergu going to take Envy out. Eden's still down. This is their opportunity to get that full control and get some impact out of there. Mitch going to be able to take Diuko out. As a result, now down to a 4v4. However, Eden now back up onto the board. With 47 seconds on the board, they can get some serious damage in with the control that they have at this point. A bit of damage going out into Hasdan. Still alive, though, as well. Seeing a lot of lit targets here from Mitch. Hasdan going to see a swing from Yanis. Try to take two, but gets popped by Cyborg from the blue stairs. 30 seconds remaining. Plenty of time to reorganize and get this push going. They do have site control. Fanky now going for the plant with 23 seconds remaining. One still above. That's going to be Aiden trying to flank out and take one out. That's going to be Mitch down. Another pick from Hasdan to take Cyborg out. Now up to Fanky, who is now out. And with that, a successful retake for Tracker Clan and their victory for this first match of tonight.
Yeah, as I said, I don't see it getting past 7-4. It was very well played throughout the mid round for Underrated. It was extremely well played throughout the mid round, but it was the fact that they didn't have any sort of cut off on these flanks. No one was really watching anything. They probably dropped too many players down, and obviously only having 3 on the board anyway is kind of a bit of a detriment. So once they actually got themselves onto site, got that plant secured, they were a little bit kind of lost for where to go or what to do next. So they obviously secured the plant behind the bar and then moved themselves towards trying to brace themselves for that vertical. But yeah, that's pretty much what I expected from this matchup. Both of these teams, as I said, fairly lower in the tables, but I mean, Tracker Clan were already on a little bit of a attempt to secure something, as they do have one win and an overtime loss, whereas Underrated 2 overtime losses. So we knew it was going to be close. We just didn't think that it was going to be an Underrated win unless they were able to really pull something out of the bag for themselves.
Yeah, and like you said, they just unfortunately weren't able to do that. They got close, though. They did get close, especially with that last round, with the way they were able to take that second floor control. But like you said, that post plant was messy, and Tracker Clan took full advantage of that. And just the coordination when it came to, sticking together and preventing, straight 1v1s with no refrags, it just wasn't there as much as it should have been. And that clearly was too much to handle for Underrated Esports.
I do agree. Up next, though, we do have MDF versus Crown Zero. Stick around for that. We're going to be back in a few minutes. We're going to take a break. You, please, make sure to get yourself refreshed. Go to the bathroom, get yourself a drink, maybe even grab a snack. And we'll see you at some point in the next 10 minutes.
See you in a bit. All right, and welcome back, everyone. ESA Cup. We're still with the Group C. On to the second match of the night. We're going to be watching MDF versus Crown Zero here with the standings so far. We got Crown Zero with 2 losses so far. MDF. Let's pull that stat one more time if we can. Get the standings here. See what our teams are up to so far. We've also got a social vote with the vast majority of players voting on MDF. Now, Naj, you would tell me a little bit in the pre-production about these teams here and their performances in Prior League. So tell me a little bit about the history of these 2 teams and if the bias really is justified in what we could be seeing here.
Well, the side of Crown Zero, they've had 2 losses. They have a round difference of 7, so they've only managed to secure 7 rounds in 2 matches, which being like averaging that out means that they lost a 7-3 and a 7-4, which is relatively consistent against the 2 teams that they have come up against so far, which are, by the looks of things, MVG and Tracker Clan. So 2 teams that are a little bit lesser respected than MDF in this group, but 2 teams that are pretty well respected here. MDF, however, were, and by some still are, argued to be one of the better teams on console, full stop. And they've had a bit of a rocky start, and they've had a rocky few games in a couple of the other leagues they're in as well. But they've still managed to bag themselves an overtime win. They do have 1 loss on their hands, which did in fact come from Wii Sports, but Wii Sports is one of those teams that, once again, they're like argued to be one of the better teams in the group. So looking at the way this is going to go, I can't imagine anything more than MDF winning like 7-2.
Yeah, looking at a possible very polarized score differential in that case. Then in that case, let's take a look at the map bans. Let's see what we've got going on for tonight's match. This time around, we got something that's a little bit different, but not really. We're going to be Oregon. Borgen. I don't know if that's a saying over on your guys' side of the world, but here in the U.S., that's what we like to call it because it's way overplayed and it's very boring. MDF will be starting that on defense here. And with that
is a very big thing with a couple of our casters called Pastor and Pooball. We'll give a quick shout out to them. But they they like to talk about how Oregon's very boring and all of this. I quite like Oregon. I think Clubhouse is very much the one that is just like beaten like a dead horse at this point. I really just don't want to cast Clubhouse. That's my big pet peeve. But as we are going to be going to Oregon, I mean, looking at this, if we just look at the cards recently for these two teams, these just quickly run through those just to get them done, dusted, and out of the way. We see that we've got best map Skyscraper for the side of MDF, and they're going to be playing, well, as far as we're aware, they're going to be playing with Aina, Variox, Nikon, Just, and Alex. So not a completely German-speaking roster, but a very good roster, to say the least. And if we just quickly switch over to the other team, we do have their best map being Border, their worst map being Cafe, two polar opposite maps, really. Cafe is a very strategical map, whereas Border is a very gunplay heavy map, and I think Oregon kind of meets that in the middle. And by the looks of things, just based on the information I have, they're going to be playing with Fleeks. Doesn't look like they're named exactly the same as they are on there, but whatever. Fleeks, IQ, 5, Gala, and Jonas. But we are just going to be heading straight into the game. So do you want to run us through the bans and tell us what you think?
Yeah, absolutely. We can cover the bans here. Typically, this is going to be a lot more standard. The 2 points of contention that you're going to be fighting against when it comes to Oregon is going to be that basement elbow, and it's usually going to be towards that second floor wall denial and getting in any kind of plant denial, such as smoke or nitros. But despite that, we are going to see a Ying ban on the attack. Usually, Ying can be really obnoxious for both of those main staple sites, being able to just rush right in, and especially with how the flashes have been changed not too long ago, can make it extremely difficult to contest those Candelas. For the second attack, going to be from Crown Zero. We're going to have... Oh, I forget that's an option. No ban. All right. Going to be moving right on to the next ban, and it looks like we're missing a player too. Outstanding. So we might have to do a possible pause or a rehost here. Not sure what's going on with that, or that no ban was intentional. Second ban, we're going to have... You guessed it.
Rehost.
Oh, but they banned there. Okay. We're going to have Mozzie. Now, Mozzie is definitely a stronger ban, more oriented towards second floor and first floor, because it can be really difficult to clear out those sites when you've got an operator like that getting in the way, and especially if they hijack intel, when you have your attacking lurker trying to catch any roamers off guard. Having a Mozzie with a drone to clear out for a roamer is a massive detriment. That can effectively shut down your ability to clear out those roamers until you get that hijack drone out of the way. So, very reasonable pick that we have here.
I'm trying to imagine the reason they went for a no ban on the attack, because it's one of those where you see it as like a ranked strategy, as people just like, oh, if we don't ban on our side, we can try and like win out more rounds on that side, and then we only have to win one on the opposite side. But it's like, it's also sort of like a throw, not a throw, but like one that is more like an ego thing. Like, they know they're confident in being able to play with these operators still being on the board, so they're kind of committing to it. The Mozzie ban is a bit of a question mark, but then again, this game could also be a complete throwaway for the side of CWZ for Crown Zero. I really don't know what the entire strategy is here for going for that no ban. The Ying is one that's like pretty detrimental on console, because she's just stupidly good at getting herself in and aggro on a lot of these different sites. But then the Fenrir is just also just a good operator to take off the cards. The Mozzie is a bit of a question mark, and the no ban is potentially a throw.
Possibly. We'll see if that pays off or not. We're going to see a fast and immediate take from Crown Zero here, already having dining hall, kitchen, making fast movements in. Think you're going to take a little bit of damage here, but not too much as they just storm right in to clearing out first floor, and with very little presence from that entire side of the map. Pretty much everyone on MDF sticking to anchoring. Looks like they're going to have a very util heavy composition, try to lock it up with Vario on Azami, Nikon on Namira, and just with Wamai. They're going to be banking very heavily on outright denying their ability to even get onto site, which cheers to them that they can make that work, because if not, it's going to be a downhill battle if they're able to really get some footing here. But with 1 minute 55 seconds in first floor control, they got all the time in the world to make that happen. But we're going to see Alex already getting Gala out with a well-placed Nitro. However, not without 5. Going to be able to clear out Ine out. Now down to a 4v4 here. 1 minute 30 seconds, but no real progress being made from Crown Zero quite yet here. Not much of a lurk presence as everyone's pretty much on site now from MDF here. It's just a matter of Crown Zero getting the setup they want and taking that execute. Got Nikon here trying to hold out for that mirror. There comes the mirror, or the Wamai's catching all of those flashes. Nade going out. It's going to be thrown a little bit too early as Nikon takes no damage here. 1 minute remaining, trying to just get whatever intel they can. Tried to make some kind of move here. No real openings showing up yet. Kiwi now down to the bottom laundry stairs, trying to see if there's some kind of opening, get some more intel on just where these vermin are positioned, because right now they are hiding in the dark and in the corner. Early CWZ's dark, and that's what dark is going to cost you as Vario takes 1, gets a double kill onto 5 as well, playing all the way in bunker. Crown Zero just having no idea where MDF is hiding at. And it shows with how these picks are coming out right from the back. Joan is going for a drop as well, right in front of Alex there. Now down to a 4v1. An aid going out. Going to do some major damage on Vario. Able to secure the pick. 15 seconds left. Still has diffuser, but the problem is getting onto side. Able to take another pick. Now down to a 2v1. Both players playing aggressively, but do have a one-way line of sight here, and it's going to catch Kiwi off guard there as Nikon finishes out that round. The first one going to MDF.
Indeed. Bit of I don't know, a bit questionable for the attacking side that they had so much time to really get themselves set up for that execute, but they weren't able to get the nade through the hole that was just a big open wall. They actually bounced it off of a bit of the wall that was sticking out, and it ended up coming back to them. Obviously didn't deal any damage to them, but didn't get the target that it was aimed for. And I mean, it probably could have if it actually made it through the gaping hole in the wall. But we're just kind of looking at a bit of a whitewash for the side of MDF. Like, MDF genuinely just don't really look like they're trying that hard. Obviously they lost a couple players, which seems kind of scary for them, but it's not really. Like, they were so confident even in the 3v3 situation that it's like you can tell that MDF know. Well, they've basically put on the Dark Princess crown at this point. They're showing them what hell's like, and it's going pretty well for them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. At that point, they pretty much already knew that they were going to win that out. It didn't really matter giving those picks away because they had such a massive advantage. And with such little time remaining, Crown Zero was just not able to get really any of the setup that they needed here. But regardless, this is another chance. But we will see Gala able to take Nikon out for an early pick here. What was that? I've never seen that before. Ooh, but not before 5. Getting down with another one. There's the blitz, the down, the nitro, and the shot from Ine just taking Kiwi out as well. They just try to rush into Attic, and they all lost their lives for it. This could be one of the fastest rounds that we'll see tonight. And there it is. Vario taking Fleet out not even a minute into the round. What just happened? And what was that throw, that nade throw? Did you see that?
Yeah, that's to sort of smoke off the peak onto towards the attic wall, which also assists in them getting through, and it also cuts off the line of sight from the rotate for when they take the drop down. So having the blitz to be able to defend his own legs means he can get off that drop down without being shot at. actually get down into the lower part of Attic and then start taking the swings that he needs to. But it's kind of like watching this it's just kind of a whitewash right now. Like there's nothing really that Crown are doing terribly, but it's like they went for that rush, and they obviously had to commit to it because they were already there. They'd already thrown a body at the problem, and it just went so bad.
Yeah, it seems like what Crown Zero is trying to do right now is kind of go for these bold plays with nowhere near the intel that they need to make something happen. Because as you can clearly see, all it takes is a little bit of an information gap for everything to fall apart. And we've seen that twice now. The first time with multiple drops and pushes into the blind with Vario taking picks all the way in bunker. We've seen that now with that push into Attic that just absolutely fell apart there. This seems to be a recurring theme here, at least from the start, that Crown Zero just tries to go for these bold plays, and it does not pay off. They don't do their intelligence due diligence, and they suffer dearly for it. So if they hopefully they'll get that together, but right now it's looking like a really painful sweep, and they're not showing any signs of stopping that, at least not MDF here, as far as sweeping them down. We're going to see 5 trying to clear out that top main lobby player, but there's really no one there. They've already backed off. Alex taking a little bit of shots here and there as they start to get their clear. Kiwi taking some heavy damage here, and there's that pick. Alex is going to be able to get Kiwi out and down. Nikon trying to contest the garage player here with that wall fully open, but instead gonna get peeked out by Jonas thanks to the Talon shield. Now 1 minute 30 seconds. It's looking a little better for Crown Zero here with a man advantage, though they have lost a flank watch character that could cost them with Alex taking 5. There's that flank that I was talking about. Or maybe it was just a standard swing out and 5 just got crushed. But either way, shots are flying and it's looking a really 50-50 here as far as setup. They do have some utility to help set some line of sights onto site, but no actual presence as just shuts down Fleek as well. Now all up to Gala and Jonas, who are still over by garage and lobby side. And with reestablishing that full main lobby control, they just know as long as we don't peek out from garage, we're golden. Still got one over by second floor. That's going to be Gala there, but still having a little bit of trouble herself trying to take out the bunk player Just, who is very low HP, trying to go for those head peeks, minimizing her exposure, pretty much stalling out Gala's time here as much as possible, just not giving her the opportunity to go for a body shot, because that's all it takes. Oh, but there it is, a shot to the arm, Just now down 2v2, but damage done with the amount of time that has been stalled here. They're going to have to try to find some kind of opening to walk in here, but they could have a chance with kitchen side. Jonas just has to force this fight here, pushing it through either lobby or kitchen side, but instead, rendezvousing with Gala. Here comes the push, trying to get onto site. 10 seconds left. They still got to play over in main lobby. Oh, but the headshot's going to kick in. Ine, now the last one alive on MDF. Going to hold this corner, wait for that push. Jonas going to have to make a choice to plan here, but she doesn't, running out of time, trying to force that fight.
I mean, if there was a site you were going to win on the attacking side, it was going to be that one. And, I mean, the fact that they didn't is absolutely astonishing. They managed to get themselves a couple of these picks that they really necessarily needed. And because they weren't able to just follow through on that attack, they weren't sort of wise enough, in a sense, to go for that plant on the right side of the split and sort of isolate that player that is going to be on the other side. They ended up losing out, and now you put MDF back on their strongest site. So you've really got to put the work in here.
Yeah, it's not looking the greatest. And one thing that MDF is doing really well here, they are not letting a single pick go without some kind of massive consequence, whether it's a refrag, whether it's stalling insurmountable amounts of time like we just saw there. No pick goes unpunished, even if they don't win that fight, even if they don't get that trade, which is the ideal circumstance, right? Which is that you get a pick, no one dies, right? All's good and well, right? Wrong, because you just spent 30 seconds to a minute dealing with that one person. MDF is putting such a huge bind on Crown Zero that they just have nothing to work with. Not time, not man advantage. Some way or another, Crown Zero is low on something, and when MDF finds out what that is, they abuse that to the extent that Crown Zero just is not able to get done what they need to. As what we saw with the amount of time that Frost wasted there, they have no time to clear out that last person, giving MDF a good turnaround there. This is what they're doing so well, and if they continue to do that, I don't think Crown Zero is going to have a chance here, and we're already going to see a down onto 5 there over by Tower Fleek, going for that Amara repel in, but it's really not a lot to look at here as that player's already fell back into rear stage. 5 able to get up, but still at low HP. Going to have that second floor control over by Games, but getting down to first floor is going to be a whole different fight in of itself. Going to have some lurkers over there from MDF trying to deny as much control as possible. Looks like they're going to be going for a bit of a time stall here. Actually, looks like they might have fully fallen back now, as now it's just a matter of waiting for Crown Zero. They are a little bit shaken up after that initial down, so they're going to be spending a bit more time than they'd like to make sure everything's cleared out, because as we've seen, that intel gap can be devastating for them. 1 minute and 23 seconds, and they haven't even got a foot in a room next to site, unless you count the rooms with the hatches, which I wouldn't really count that as being adjacent to site. Nothing really so far. Minute and 10 seconds remaining. They're going to have to make a move eventually. A lot of shots coming out from 5 there. Not going to be able to connect onto anybody quite yet. They do have the hatches open, which is going to allow them for a drop. But as we've seen before with an intel gap, when they drop onto something like that, it just does not pay off for them. Fleek trying to push out from Laundry here, but a bit of a crossfire. Now pushing out even further in. Does possibly have a line of sight onto Zombie. Going to be able to take Virio out. And there's the opening they've been looking for, but not without taking yet another, as we see Kiwi take Nikon out as well. Looks like they're going to get that control that they've so badly desired. However, Anya going to be able to catch one stuck in a corner. Alex going to get Fleek out as well. Not without the fights coming out. Another down back to back. Now up to a 2v2 here. This number's even out just a little bit more, but with Jonas going down, now up to Kiwi, who's got one with their back turn, but looks away at the last second. No! Alex able to take Kiwi despite completely being unprepared for that fight with a nice initial flick to give MDF another round despite Crown Zero having that footing that they needed to take it. MDF giving no grounds here. What do you think? What does Crown Zero need to do here? Because they're in a lot of trouble right now.
There is no grand amount you can do. Like, look at the sort of the way the game's being played at the moment. Like, you've got the side of MDF that are just so confident, even after losing players, they're able to just like pull it back. They're taking their swings. They're not afraid of these players on the side of Crown Zero. And I think when it comes down to the side of Crown Zero, it's the lack of intel. Like, not being able to actually get themselves any information as to what these players are actively trying to defend or actively trying to do is a really big detriment to the way they're playing. And, I mean, it's just really sort of astonishing watching the side of MDF just pick apart the side of Crown Zero, really, because it's something unlike anything I've ever seen. Because we're going to end on this with like a 6-0 You get a stun peak onto 5 there, like straight away. That's ideal. You take out that book. That's sort of like a lot of your pressure just kind of taken off the cards already, especially if you're going to be trying to play with those nades underneath on Thinker. You're going to want that hatch open. And the easiest way to do that is by just using your skeleton key to just pop it straight open. Or even if you want to try and play the nades onto the attic in the expectation of the smoke being on the far back of that once again. Obviously, there isn't a smoke. But in the expectation that there was, they could have had that player standing around there. But Malusi takes the drop down onto the hatch and tries to take the swing onto Sledge and able to find it inside of the garage, gets injured and ends up going down herself. Just might be just quickly throwing it away for his team. He sees the player through the wall. The Solace moves away over into the kitchen, but going to be trying to take the engagement through the double door. Ina finds one more on the far side, and now we're going to be seeing the Legion make his way down white to assist his teammate.
That initial pick on the 5 was foul. Man has not been able to play. Almost taking out their own teammate there. What is happening right now? Now the nade goes out. Oh, but a down, a triple kill from Ine. Now a 4v2.
He's on for an ace.
Yeah, going for an ace so far. Still got 2 more picks to go here. Is Ine going to be able to connect this off? 1 minute and 25 seconds, and so much has just went wrong here. A lot of damage coming in onto Ine. Still holding that shield position strongly here. Just trying to get that ace. But I mean, with the round differential they've had right now, they can pretty much afford it. Oh, but we're going to see Nikon just run straight in, get wiped out there. And it looks like that ace isn't going to be happening here. 2v1. They're just throwing more bodies in. It's now a 1v1.
Oh, speaking of aces.
Oh, my gosh.
He has to ace to win.
Yeah, he's going to have to ace to win this out. Oh, my gosh. Fleek taking 4 picks here. It's now all up to him. Oh, but does he know that she's hiding there? That could be the ace here if he clears this out properly. But with being out of the open, he's vulnerable. And she takes full effect and full advantage of that. Ine to clear it out with what was a much closer round for no real reason at all on MDF's side. But it doesn't matter. Even in their tomfoolery, still able to take it.
The snake play through the trophy door was amazing. I respect Alex for that. Just like proning and crawling through the trophy door while his down teammate is just suffering inside of trophy. Very funny. But either way, as we sort of move into the final round of this half, it's just not looking fun for the side of Crown Zero. Like I know their mental's already shattered. And I mean, realistically, just watching the rest of this game, you're just going to see more and more of players getting caught, players getting picked, and I think there's going to be a bit of dysfunction between the communication of the side of Crown Zero, just because of the way they've been kind of bullied in this first half. And I mean, if they're able to come out with a win on this round, then fair to them, fair be it. But I realistically don't see it happening. You've got players left, right, and center that are just able to pull so much weight. Like, I mean, I've seen Just go on an absolute tear in the past alongside Variox, and at the moment it's Ine and also Alex that are just kind of taking all the slack for their team at the moment and doing whatever they need to. So you just don't need the others right now, and with how good some of these players can be, not needing them is a very, very, very big detriment to the side of Crown Zero. But they're going to be going for a rush.
Oh, no way.
Get ready
for
a rush. This.
They're already on site right now. There's no one contesting them. There's no one here. They got 2 in meeting hall, though. 1 pick coming out, a second one as well. Now down to a 4v3 already. An impact going out, taking Gala down. The feed shots to take him out as well. The rapid fire response to MDF. All playing offside, but collapsing in from meeting hall onwards. And now they're at a very tricky situation with Diffuser stuck on side. Kiwi going down as well. It's now all up to Fleek, trying to take as many as he can, getting a double kill here. Now down to a 2v1, going to try to force as many fights as possible, but the head peek from Just going to be too much for Fleek in the midst of the chaos. The rush not paying off, trying to do anything they can to make something happen, to not have a 6-0, but it looks like that's not going to be the case. Now tell me again, what did you say the score was going to be, Naj? Did you say it was going to be, what was it?
I said max 7-2.
Yeah, the Max is definitely looking right so far with the way it's looking at the moment, going 6-0 and a swap.
I didn't think it'd be 7-0, man. I didn't think it'd be 7-0. I really hope they'd like a different team on defense, because this is wild.
Yeah, this is not looking too hot for Crown Zero here. And I mean, it would be one thing, right? If a lot of those were like close rounds, even the rounds that were quote unquote close weren't really close. It was more MDS screwing around and then, kind of having some shivers go down their spine as they took it a little too far, but then immediately turning it back around. That's what we've seen the entire time. There hasn't really been an actual close round where it was really like anybody's round. It's always been MDF here. So I don't know what Crown Zero is going to have to do here, but if I was MDF, I would want to crush any possibility of momentum and go for a full blaze rush here. However, it doesn't look like MDF has the composition really to do that. They do have Vario on the Finca, but that doesn't look like the move they're going to be going for. But either way, I don't see Crown Zero building any momentum with the nature in which those rounds have been lost on the on attack. That was just way too devastating.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of insane. You have Crown Zero on the defense now, and you can only hope and pray for them to actually be able to pull this back for themselves. So Flora is going to be outside of the blue area, just getting his drones through and seeing if he can, you know, destroy any of that utility. Ash comes down those tower stairs, manages to, or not Ash, Yana comes down those tower stairs and secures a frag for herself onto the man on pillar. But now we're going to be seeing a bit of aggression coming out of Crown Zero into Elbow, seeing if they can try and find this Flores on the outside. But Hibana and Nomad going to be making their way upstairs to pressure onto these hatches, and it looks like Hibana wants to try and take an aggressive peek, because she is going to be just having a little bit of a look around, finding any of these players that are absolutely necessary, getting the clear onto Shaiko by opening up that wall, and now with Fleeks falling as well, it's going to be a bit scary for the side of Crown Zero. I now managed to find Jonas, and now it's going to be a 2v5 as they do manage to find one for themselves in return. The swing onto Highway isn't able to find the frag, but the man falls as he trades previous, and that's the game over.
Wow, talk about a lightning fast round. Jeez. What did he get that round? Only one pick? I mean, good attempt, but man, MDF is like an unstoppable force and an immovable object at the same time. I mean, defense is all about holding back that push, and they did that every time. You've got the best of both worlds, unstoppable object and as well as an immovable object as well. MDF just not giving Crown Zero a break there. Even when they were messing around, like you saw in that one round, crawling around out in the open in trophy room, it didn't even matter. There was just zero opportunity, zero openings for Crown Zero. MDF just so aggressive and so efficient in their coordination and their cross plays. This is the kind of team play that we have to see more from some of the teams that have been struggling in this Group C bracket. Take MDF as an example of exactly what you need to do. Every single time a MDF player died, it was not without massive consequences, whether it was time, whether it was positioning for another player to swoop in, whether it was a trade or straight up the other team losing that gunfight, you know, the trade, right? Yeah. Nothing that MDF did as far as dying was without significant consequences for Crown Zero every time. And for some of the teams that we've actually seen up to this point in previous weeks and even tonight, you know, with the last game, this is exactly what you want to be doing. You know, you want no stone unturned and you want no death without its cost. It's really about who can get the most impact within that short time frame. And MDF was able to take advantage of that so well. That time that Crown Zero has to push against, and always making sure that that Crown Zero is losing something in one way or the other.
Well, after such a bombshell of a game that we've just experienced between MDF and Crown Zero, we are just going to be taking another short break, potentially a bit longer, depending on how long it takes for us to get these teams up, ready, and going. It's going to be Wii Sports versus Molotov Gaming. Thank you so much, Piercing, for the cast that we've performed together today.
Yeah, but no problem. But like you said, unfortunately, this is going to be my last game. I'm not going to be here for the third one. Mental health is important, everybody, and I do have a counseling appointment. It was kind of a foresight of my own. I kind of forgot how long these games can kind of take to cast, but you know, got to take care of myself alongside everyone else. So with that being said, I'm going to get ready for that. Thanks for having me, Naj, and thanks for watching, everybody. We'll have, I believe it's Bose stepping in for this last game, so you'll get to see him game. Or Bozo, as I like to call him, because he cut me off the last time that I casted. But with that being said, we're going to go on break. I'll catch you guys next time. And with that being said, in a minute, we'll be moving on to Game 3. So, best of luck to the teams coming up, and we'll see you in a bit.
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to ESA Cup Season 7, and where it's Nash. And I'm not actually sure if Piercing did inform the viewers about me replacing him. Either way, I'm going to replace him here for this third match of today, the final match of today. And Nash, welcome. Good evening. Nice to be here again.
It's nice to have the combo back. Me and you sat here on this table and doing our best.
Surely.
We're going to be casting a familiar face, which is MVG, alongside a new face, which is Wii Sports, compiled of a few familiar players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, indeed. Wii Sports, a team that already well known within the scene, but mostly with a PC team. But recently, then also having their finally having a console team. So I'm very excited to see them in action here in ESA Cup. We have seen them in a few other competitions where they have been doing very well. While also MVG has been improving a little bit by bit, and generally they're usually one of those top 8 teams at least. So 2, I think, pretty strong teams. And if we actually take a look, maybe the community vote, it's already up right now. We can see 67% for Wii Sports versus the 33% for MVG, which is kind of surprising to me. MVG we know them very well. They're a very strong team, but clearly the community is thinking that Wii Sports is going to be even stronger.
Well, winner decides first place here. So when it comes down to these two teams as a whole,
right,
with their positions on the scorecards, both of them have 1 win and 1 overtime win. The overtime win for Wii Sports came from a game against Underrated, and then the overtime win for Molotov came against also Underrated, both winning 8-6 in their games. Looks like Molotov played Oregon, and Wii Sports played Chalet. So
indeed,
we'll have to see how this goes. But both of these teams having very similar results. We'll have a quick look at the map bans beforehand.
Oregon, one of our favorite maps, right, Nash?
I like this one.
Yeah, you tend to like it. I'm a bit more bored of it. Like some people in the community, just calling it Oregon. But either way, it's a good map. It's a fun map in some ways, and especially for 2 teams that are so well balanced, in terms of skill level and sort of performance so far within this competition. I do think Oregon could be an ultimate map to test these teams, what they can really do, because there's not much really you can bring to the table anymore on a map like Oregon, and it will really come down to how the teams execute the strategies and whether they will win their gunfights or not. So I think that will be a good test for these 2 teams.
Yeah. Well, between these 2 teams, it's there's such a minor difference, but one of them has played Oregon already, and that's MVG playing Oregon against Underrated, which is the game that they got their overtime win. They secured a win, however, an actual win against Crown Zero, and Wii Sports secured their win comfortably over MDF, winning 7-3. So the team coming into this with a bit more of a performance deficit is definitely MVG. They're lower down. They haven't got as many convincing wins in comparison. But then again, we're only 2 weeks in. This is week 3, so we might as well give them the benefit of the doubt and say that these teams are pretty much borderline equal. But we are going to be heading into the game. So do you want to cover the attacker bans?
Yes, right now. So that would be a good one to go. I'm actually not sure I'm hearing myself. Oh, actually, I know. Never mind. That's just stupid. I was just quickly looking into the head-to-head information between these 2 teams, and that's why the browser or the player of Wikipedia was opening up. Quick fun fact before we start the operator bans: these 2 teams actually played against each other before in eFuture League, which is another league organized by Stucky, one of our casters and current observer. And actually turns out these 2 teams played together on Bank, where it was a win for Wii Sports with a 6-8 score. So
very close.
Interesting fact there. So that's nice. That's good stuff between these 2 teams. Still very close, but it's Wii Sports here currently leading between these 2 teams. But hey, operator bans have been going on. The first operator ban has came out from Team Blue, which is Wii Sports, and this is a very well-known, not too surprising Ying ban, followed by a Jackal ban coming from Team Orange, which is Molotov Gang. So those are the first two attacker bans. Nothing too
Yeah.
surprising, I would say, right?
I think they're relatively standard. You've got the Jackal for the roam presence, and then you've also got the Ying for really like pressuring those sites. But realistically, I think with these going off the board, we're going to see a Solace, we're going to see a Fenrir. I think they're the two we're going to see go off the cards.
Yeah.
Because realistically, they're very like on the attack. It's very like aggressive intel focused, and I think it's the same on the defense for both of these teams. They're going to be playing around that aggressive intel. So I think Fenrir and Solace are going to be the two we see. Maybe a mirror in favor of the Solace, but instead it's going to be a Malusi. So it looks like they actually do want to play a bit more aggressive on this attack.
Yeah, that's the first for the season.
I'm very interested in the Malusi ban because it very much could be a target ban with these teams playing against each other and being so close.
Yeah, indeed. Some very interesting bans, of course, especially the Malusi. Like I said, the first time we're seeing her being banned during this season. Not too uncommon in generally for her to be banned, especially like way back when she was first introduced into the comp scene.
Yeah, but that's because she was a 3-speed with a C4. That's awful.
She used to be so strong, but she is
and
still strong.
And you had to melee a gadget.
Yes. Right now she has been getting a little bit weaker, but she is still a strong operator, especially if she places her utility in strong and smart places. But for now, for this match, she won't be played, so we won't see her at all. So yeah, for now, for the first round, we're going to the top floor, where it's going to be Kids Dorms and Dorms main hall. The first bomb site here chosen by Wii Sports, who's playing as a defending team, where soon MVG, the offending team, will be starting here with the offense.
Well, another thing that I'd like to touch on is the fact that in the previous match, actually, Malusi was utilized for the top floor holds for the side of MDF. MDF were using Malusi alongside Thorn, which is like a fun little combo that you only really see in ranked because realistically that's the main place it works. But they are going to be obviously taking it off the cards, but it's something that definitely did play a bit of a factor in the previous matchup. It was something that slowed down the Sledge in one of those rounds and actually allowed the Thorn, who was in a 1v1 clutch situation, to actually secure that for herself. But we do have a Hibana over towards this tower side. It looks like it's going to be Bunkers, as he is going to be just opening up this wall and getting himself some angles over towards the the defenders on the attic side.
Yeah, a bit of a classic setup here from the offensive side, like both having two hard breaches, one going for tunnel, one going for the walk-in closet. And then here the Azami just currently playing army, holding on as long as she possibly can. She did get damaged quite a bit with the flashbang. She has no idea of the Nomad entering, finds the kill, first player down. We're now finding ourselves in the 4 versus 5 with
that was
MVG.
So smart.
It was. MVG taking the lead. Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to bring up to the viewer, for anyone that didn't realize, she threw 2 flashbangs in and then dropped a Nomad charge just in the middle of the room. Blew away that Azami and then managed to get the kill while swinging in. They found another on the long angle, but Duet has managed to find one onto the players in attic. Another player still remains in that side. The shotgun at close range isn't able to find the frag as Hakanino manages to take the swing onto the corner. Duet finds one more for himself, and now it's going to be a 2v3, a bit more equalized for these defenders to actually be able to try and get themselves a bit of a W in this. The player on the big window does deal a little bit of damage to the player that's hanging around in bedroom, and with the player going down near the default plant, with Duet going down on that white wall, it is going to leave Weedy in that 1v3 and gets caught from several different angles. Ace comes off the plant, takes a swing onto the corner, and Hakanino finds that kill for himself and secures the round for his team. MVG coming out with round number 1.
Yeah, indeed. MVG starting well in this rematch between these two teams, starting with the lead, exactly what they're looking for. They're playing as the offending team and managed to secure his first rounds, after which is now Wii Sports, who could technically still go for the same bomb site, have decided to go and fall back to the basement. Technically one of the strongest bomb sites on this map. And it's a classic bunker bomb site, with so many solid walls, so many rotations to be made. Blue is going to be extended, the elbow, as it's also being called, where the Tachenka can make some quick work of those rotations. Tachenka, bit of an interesting pick, especially with the LMG, but we have also seen how strong he really can be with his utility.
Oh, I haven't asked this question yet. Who do you think is going to win, the Germans or the Germans?
The Germans. I think it's the second one, the Germans.
Okay, all right. I thought I'd just quickly get that question off my chest. It's been burning at me for quite a while now. So, in this round, we are going to be looking at a basement hold, arguably one of the most defender-sided sites in the game. It is argued by a lot of people to be the case. And I think that when it comes down to it, I think it really shows a lot of prowess on an attacking side if you're able to really dismantle a hold like this. It's the same way that what do you call it? The same way MDF did in the previous game against Crown Zero, because it's like they managed to get themselves all the way in and win almost a flawless round, other than the one player that they did unfortunately lose to the hanging around in Highway. But like, if you're able to really like isolate a team and pick them apart on a hold like this, I think it's very, very good and shows a lot about how good your team actually is. And MVG are going to be looking to try and do that, as they have already got tower presence. The Monty going to be making his way down. Hakanino does lose his life, and the mute on the close range angle on the tower stairs is going to just have to fall off here as the Monty moves his way a little closer.
Yeah, that could potentially really hurt the offensive round here. Offensive round here from MVG. But luckily, they do have some other harbinging utility on both Shinji and Gorilla, who can still make some of things work. But they
like this patience.
Sorry.
I'm saying I like this patience.
Yes, I mean the C4 being thrown right behind the Monty can be very strong just now. The Monty is forced to walk forward, which could have been a nice opportunity for the K8, for example, to step in, but unfortunately they haven't been able to benefit from it at all. A very nice opportunity and attempt, unfortunately did not work out. And also here, Afra just waiting but getting droned, unfortunately for him. Still spot, but still waiting for the Maru to peek around the corner, but unfortunately no, loses his life. Bankus, Shinji, and Gorilla each with 1 kill, bringing us to this 2 versus 3 situation with just Fast and Jewett left standing. Jewett, however, finds one, takes a Bankus, and a Fast with the saving action here on Gorilla, brings us to this 1 versus 1, but still 1 player on the floor, which could technically be revived, but it seems unlikely. This could just end up being 1 standoff here between these 2 players, Fast versus Shinji. And yeah, that's Shinji with the final kill, finding Fesk, securing 1 more round here for the offensive team, the attacking team of Molotov Gang, putting us in an 0-2 score.
Yeah, very close between those 2 teams on that basement hold. And I mean, as I said, if you're able to come out with a win on the basement site, you have a very high chance of coming out with a win on the rest. And I think that with them being able to win that as convincingly, well, as unconvincingly as they did, it's going to be quite close. Like, I think the basement site in particular for, well, Wii Sports is going to be a bit of a coin flip for them going back to it. As, I mean, they do have to try and prepare to fight against a similar stratagem. They are going to be going for a similar sort of concept, but they're not going to be bringing along that Amaru this time. Oh, never mind. Yes, they are. Yeah. Switching off the RAM and going to that Amaru. More than likely going to be playing the exact same way. So if the side of Wii Sports are able to adapt to a couple of these plays, then I imagine that they're going to be able to bring themselves out of this with a win just as close as the last round was in favor of MVG.
Yeah, no shame in attempting a bomb set for the second time. As long as you just find and analyze your mistakes and things, opportunities to do better, then they should have no problems here this time around. So let's see how they will do in their second attempt, as the action phase has now started.
Yeah, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So here we are. We do have Husky going to be just hovering around on those tower stairs right now as the Amaru makes her way into the upper echelon of tower, and now they're just going to be preparing themselves, taking a couple engagements against some drones and really trying to see if he can going to be able to catch out one of these players. But here's the shield breaking that barricade and backs himself off down the stairs quite a bit now, as he doesn't really want to get caught by that.
And it's just kind of similar kind of approach. Monty again here trying to approach the backstairs with again that mute with the shotgun, just waiting to make a move. Probably again still having the T4 in the pocket, which he can use 1 more time. But this time the Tachenka just doing a little bit of effort here, slowing down the Monty, even doing a little bit of damage, which is just helps a little bit. But this is where the Tachenka can come in very useful to slow down the offense a little bit more.
Indeed, yes, he can. Stage hatch open in the process is going to actually allow them to get the open onto that mirror window. The mirror going to be trying to take the swing onto the man that's on the corner. The C4 goes out but gets shot out as it does get thrown, and now the Nomad saved by the bell as Zofia has got the cover.
Nice little angle here from Weedy, doing a little bit of damage, but unfortunately not getting the kill. But Afla, however, getting that first kill on his opponent, taking care of them, knowing he potentially already placed all of utility. But either way, that's still one less man standing, one less gun to be held. But a fresh with a team kill there on Joette, that is not the play. That's your Mira being lost. Very unfortunate, which now brings us to the 4 versus 4 situation, with just the final minute now approaching.
Indeed. Shanka, the man that's denying these back stairs, nearly loses his life there as he does make his way through, but speaking of losing their life, the shield goes down. The Thatcher soon to follow, as now we're going to be seeing the Amaru make her way in through Freezer. She finds one onto Husky, but gets taken out as Weedy manages to find that kill for himself. And now it's just the Zofia of Hakanino going to be left alive on the side of Molotov, as they are just going to be trying to find a little bit of an engagement an advantageous wear and tear onto the side of Wii Sports, but unfortunately I haven't find anything as of right now, so rotating over towards Tower Stairs to isolate a 1v1 and just gonna be talking it over with the team right now by the looks of things in the last 15 seconds.
Yeah, whenever she does the tiniest bit of damage will be the end of her. She will just attempt to go for the potentially being able to do something, but no fast. Just needed to land one single bullet. That was enough to take out these Zofia. Win the round for the defense. The first round here going to Wii Sports. Will now put themselves on a 1-2 score after a very bloody round end.
Yeah. A bit of a bloodbath back and forth as, I mean, as I said, it was still very close, even though the side of Wii Sports did come out of it with a win. I think that's going to be a tale of the rest of this game, if I'm honest. I think every basement hold is going to probably go like that, whereas upstairs could be a little bit more convincing alongside these first floor sites. But it's all entirely based around how thoroughly they play by these strategies. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, so once again, we're going back to the top floor, the bomb site that Wii Sports has chosen for the very first round of this match. And again, here for the second time, they're going to attempt it. The second time, it works perfectly for them in the basement. We'll see. Potentially, they will be able to get a second round on the board here now on this second attempt on this bomb site. If not, there's still 2 other bomb sites they could choose to go on this map, as Oregon, just like any other map, provides 4 excellent options. But for now, they just decided to just go with these 2, which clearly have their preference.
Yeah, I think it's all going to come down to adaptation. The way they're playing right now, it's like a lot of these little like micro strategies. For example, the repelling through the armory window, the Monty down the tower stairs. I think they're going to come down to I think it's entirely going to come down to these micro adaptations during the round. And I think that'll really make the difference between the way these teams perform. Speaking of performance, Fesk finds 1 on Dashinji.
Yeah, that's the opening kill for Wii Sports, exactly what they need since they're behind on 1 point on their opponent. So that's a good way for them to start, and especially with Gridlock. Before, I think she even has been able to deploy a single bit or not much of a utility either way. That's a good start for them. One less thing to worry about, where they now find themselves in the 5 versus 4 man advantage. I believe we might see a very close engagement anytime soon. Also with Fesk on the flank. There's the attacker just right around the corner, right around in the hallway towards security and Freezer stairs. But for now, just patiently waiting for an opportunity while the attacking team is just further setting up. Ace charges being activated, walls being opened, and a Fesk getting that kill on Bankus, taking out the Hibana as well. And just goes on. Fesk finds another one, takes out Gorilla. That's the Ash also losing her life in this case, which now brings us to the 5 versus 2 situation. Already 3 members on the offensive side losing their lives. Shanks is making things a little bit more possible for the team, as both him and Hakino find a kill in Duet. Then Shanks with another kill immediately, and suddenly things seem very possible for either team, as we now find ourselves in a 2 versus 2 situation where both sides suffered 3 casualties each.
Problem is, this mute is looking nigh impossible to push now, as he is going to be sitting on that corner behind the little vertical half wall. Just sitting there waiting on that trophy door, just for the Nomad to make her way through. It looks like she's going to be rotating all the way over to Big Window to see if she can apply some pressure and some cover onto the man that she needs to. The Mozzie going to be making his way over onto the aggressive side.
Ooh, wow.
Does manage to get that kill for himself in the swing round. Husky finds 2 beautiful frags for himself and secures the win for his team. Some grass in the middle of the room is going to be growing from thin air. But speaking of growing from thin air, I'll leave that there.
Was he on a quad kill?
I think so.
I think so, right? Yeah, like the Dex just appeared.
No, because it was a triple kill. It was a triple kill for Fesk.
Right.
Yeah, it was a triple kill for Fesk.
Yeah,
so we got a double.
You're right, indeed. Yeah, well, after Wii Sports now has secured a second round win on the defense, they now must go to a different bomb site, like we already spoke about before, and now they just clearly go for that first preferred bomb site, which seems to be Meeting Hall Kitchen. Yeah, like many people say, you can either go for kitchen and meeting or kitchen and dining. Most people tend to prefer meeting these days, but technically dining is still very much passable and could also be chosen in this case.
Well, both sides have their problems, really, don't they? It's like you've got the thermite trick on the dining site, which is like a really big part of the way that site is pushed. And then which means you have to have control of small tower for as long as possible. And then you've got like the standard sort of OSA play on the stage side and just like the standard stage push. So it's both sides have their gimmicks, but I think that the one that's a little bit more versatile for both sides is the stage site. And well, speaking of
yeah, it's the same opening kill again. Shanks losing his life on the gridlock. Opening kill here for Wii Sports. Something they don't need as much anymore, as there's now a 2-2 score, but still very welcoming from them. I guess they're very happy with this one, as they now find themselves in the advantage here once more for the beginning of the rounds.
Yeah, gonna be punching open that window is the knock, or that door is the knock, as now she's just gonna be trying to make her way in through the through and towards the shower corridor. Player gonna be trying to take the swing onto the small tower door as he does make his way in through towards kitchen. Oh, and a beautiful headshot through the wall from Alpha, as Alpha manages to secure himself a second, as he's going to be able to find a third. It's a triple kill. Alpha is the problem child right now, as he is going to be trying to take one more. That's a quad kill. He's on for the ace. Is he going to be able to find it, as the Ram is going to be the last man standing? Shinji, are you going to be able to bring this man's reign of terror to an end and find the ace for yourself to secure the round? I'm almost certain that you're probably not going to secure this round, but very potentially could take down this Tyrant in the middle of this round. It's a flawless round, but not only that, it's an ace for Alpha as he makes his way through on that shower corridor and finds the final kill inside of Small Tower.
Yeah, beautiful.
No man is getting past him.
Yeah, beautiful run from Wii Sports, also claiming the lead here for this matchup, as we now find ourselves in a 3-2, where Wii Sports kind of seem to be like letting things down in the first 2 rounds, kind of playing like as an iSports, and now clearly way more playing as a team, as a Wii Sports they're playing, and just this teamwork is really proving for themselves. And then also this really nice individual plays from a player like we just saw, the Mozzie, just beautiful, and therefore just claiming the lead which they needed.
Yeah, it's just super easy. Alpha. I'm saying Alpha, but like I know, like I can read. It's Afla. Either way, Afla is just it did so well in that round to just be able to hold off the entirety of Small Tower wherever need be, and it just made such a mess of the opposing side because they just really weren't able to adapt to his positioning, which makes it very scary for the attacking side, especially when you've got a player that's just kind of dashing between like here, there, and everywhere, peeking several different doors, and just overall being a nuisance.
Yeah, indeed. And so now approaching the 6th round. It's the final round before the roll swap happens. So the final round for MVG to play as the offending team and Wii Sports to play as the defending team. Wii Sports, of course, got to choose their starting side. So far they've been doing well on the defense, but ideally for them, they would get at least 4 rounds out of it to have a nice little advantage for the second half of this match. Well, good thing for MVG is that this time they're not getting the opening killed as soon as the last times. However, we do see Flores getting quite a bit of damage there very early on, but luckily managing to survive that. So that's at least a bit of an improvement there for MVG, which hopefully will be a little bit beneficial for them.
Well, even in the worst of situations, a 4-2 split isn't the worst thing in the world, especially on Oregon, a map that has a site like Basement on it. And if you're able to squeak out a victory on this site now, then, I mean, I imagine that there's going to be a very, very, very big string of confidence in their defensive half.
Yeah, indeed. And once again, we see the Tachenka and the mute shotgun combo back again at those backstairs, being very strong together with some nice team play, holding back the offensive team, MVG, as long as they can, while Bankus already is like here, manning the meeting hatch, a strong position, which has been opened up by one of his teammates, popping up the mirror window, taking away those nice little defense lines from his opponents. And the team just getting set up here, just going for potential drop. But no, it's after getting the first kill, taking out Gorilla. That's the mute attacher of the board. The drop comes in, and unfortunately, no, he doesn't connect. He gets taken out himself. Really with a kill there on Shanks. We now find ourselves in a 5 versus 2 with Hakim getting kill off Fask. And with a 4 versus 2, it's time for members of Esports and MVG to regroup. And unfortunately, no, it's Akila losing his life. Shinji getting 1 kill there on Weedy. It's a 3 versus 1. With the Shinji now playing here on the backstairs, finding 1 kill, but getting damaged quite a bit there by the flames of the Tachenka. And with his 2 versus 1 and very low HP, he needs to make it happen, but unfortunately he doesn't. It's Afla getting 1 more kill there for the team, securing this round for the team, and putting themselves on a nice little lead as we now proceed to the roll swap with a 4-2 score.
Afla is in control of this game right now. Really just like dominating that defensive side pretty much single-handedly, as now we are going to be moving on to the second half of the match. We are going to be seeing MVG on the defensive half this time, and bringing along a Clash is one that I really didn't expect to be saying tonight.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, Clash, whenever we see her, she can be extremely devastating for the team, for the opponent, especially if she's played by a good player in a good team. The effect of Clash can just be so destructive for a team, and sometimes you just don't know how to deal with it. And especially if there's a good player playing right behind the Clash, some nice teamwork, then it can just be so difficult to deal with a player.
Yeah, I feel like it's a very unfortunate name and operator combo, though. Like, it just seems oddly offensive.
Clash. Yeah, I mean, it just has to do with the background story, you know, like being like one of those like police officers during those riots with the shield.
Yeah,
the Clashes. Yeah.
I was more talking about like the operator and the player name. It just seems oddly offensive.
Yeah, that's just coincidence.
Oh no, it's fine. Well, with how it's going right now, we are just going to be seeing. By the looks of things, Fesk's making his way in through Garage, and he does have a couple of drones set up, one of which is able to see Mute and Wamai both chilling around inside of the stage area. He's going to be just seeing if he can try and see if he can secure anything for himself. They do, on the side of MGG, manage to find Afla, and realistically, if you want to find any pick at all, it's going to be that man that you want to try and take off the board. 9 kills under his belt right now, as Tabana is going to be trying to take that swing as well. Husky on the door of tower, just seeing if he can secure anything for himself at all.
Yeah, and with the members of Esports, just find themselves down 1 member, just looking for the right kind of momentum, just make a move and just find a bit of success. Ferris players are already like in a nice position, but not too strong to really do anything, especially with the player then back on those back stairs. The player is just in such a strong position, really disrupting the attack here from the members of Esports. But as Esports finds 1 kill there on the mute, I think that was the player who was playing on this back stair. That's 1 less thorn in their eye, and with this, they now have. It's just a bit more opportunity to actually do something and make something happen. They do still have 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining, which is quite a bit of time to actually make a little bit of an improvement and make something happen. So this is the moment for them to just position themselves in the right position, Hibana can open up some hatches. Flores can still do a bit of destructions, and from here, within the last minute, they can still make a nice little move.
Exactly. And now, with this pressure coming in through Freezer, they are going to be just seeing if they can try and find this kill. And I mean, Affler going down the trade for bunkers.
Ooh,
It's
nice.
pretty good, but the swing comes around from Fesk, finding that kill onto Hakanino, and now as they are going to be trying to make their way through, he's just going to be quite tentative. He knows there's going to be a player trying to take the re-swing, but Shanks just re-swings into a headshot. Some angry words coming out of the Clash's mouth right now as Shinji does manage to secure 2 for himself inside of bunker, and the man going to be dropping the hatch sometime soon is going to be that Hibana. She throws a flash in towards the elbow and takes a swing, but gets caught out by Shinji on the opposite side. And Ash can't even, well, Fest can't even chase. As he's trying to get his way through, the head holes from the Hibana pellets are going to be detrimental to the potential plan that they're going to be going for.
Yeah, this is exactly what we meant when we first spoke about Clash being picked for this round. Like how destructive Clash can be. Like by herself, she cannot really do too much, but with a good player playing behind her and a good coordination between these two players, she can be just so strong and so disruptive for the attacking team. And I think this round was a perfect demonstration on how to use Clash and how to have like a perfect team play on how to hold back the attacking team as much as possible, and even getting some kills as the second player, as for example like the Ashe, which is almost unable to move at all, just getting taken out pretty easily.
Yeah, I do like very much agree. Like at the moment, we are just seeing Wii Sports just kind of run away with it a little bit, but MVG pulling themselves back into this 4-3 situation as it was 4-2 in the first half. So I'm very proud of the way MVG are actually like going, and I think they should be proud of themselves, because coming onto Oregon's defensive half, even in a disadvantageous situation, gives you such confidence because the defense is, well, so favorable on a lot of these sites, and I think they're really going to be able to really put some work in and play off that.
Yeah, indeed, and Wii Sports again here on the lead with this 4-3 score after they just lost the previous rounds, or like the round before this. The offense so far, one round won, one round lost, and this will become their 5th point on the board. Just setting up, getting ready for an attack, mostly focusing here on the southern side of the map, where it's the master bedroom and the closet, where they want to be coming from. Is there even anyone coming from the north at all at the moment? From Big Tower? I don't think so, right?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
No, they're just really focusing on one side, which is a little bit more unusual, but still totally fine. I mean, as long as you make it work on this side, you can do loads of damage, especially here with the Ashe already getting extremely close to the player, to just a few meters to the right. We're completely unaware of each other's position. But yeah,
surely she hears him.
Yeah, there we go.
She knows. There it is. Duet manages to find that kill, and I mean, it's going to put Wii Sports into a much better situation coming into this round in comparison to the last one, as now we see the execute just being set up by Wii Sports. They've managed to clear out any electric that was sort of positioned on the wall, and they're just going to try and get that wall open. The attic window going to be soon to follow. As they do get that open, Hakanino does find one for himself in return fire, and so does Shinji on the backline there by the looks of things. The vertical angle comes out from Hakanino as he manages to find the kill onto the ace through the breach on that vertical hold. And now they have to clear out this player below if they want any chance of being able to secure anything for themselves. Nearly hitting him through the wall there and not quite going to find it. So Bandit going to be sitting pretty on that breach. And it's just going to be left up to this Flores and Finker to try and get themselves a W here.
Seems like the Bandit has rotated back upstairs. He doesn't seem to be playing downstairs anymore, which would have been a nice opportunity for him, but now he gets taken out here by the Flores himself. Gets a double kill as he also finds a Gorilla, and suddenly Shinji is all left alone, which then gets taken out by Fesk, and in a blink of an eye, Wii Sports managed to secure yet another round for themselves as a team and puts himself on a 5-3 lead. beautiful rounds.
Indeed, they do. They've managed to get themselves a second round ahead, and now they're going to be trying to see if they can carry it forward. If they're able to get one more, they're able to get themselves onto match point, and that's going to make them very comfortable. That 2 rounds to win for them, and 4 rounds to win for the side of MVG.
Yeah, indeed. Like I already said, there's also a rematch between these 2 teams. So previously, Wii Sports was the victorious team between the 2. And it's just slowly starting to almost seem like that Wii Sports might just be a little bit stronger here than Molotov Gang. But this match will really decide it a little bit more, as the match, of course, isn't over yet. All MVG needs is 2 rounds to bring it back to an even 5-5 score. So it's a little bit too early to judge. But clearly, for now, Wii Sports is just showing that they're really capable of winning yet another match.
Indeed. I think both of these teams are incredibly capable of coming out of this matchup with a victory. But I think at the moment, Wii Sports are a little bit more comfortable in that fact, as MVG are going to have to put in a little bit more work. And now, as we do move into this round, more than likely, I imagine with the lineup that we're seeing on the attacking side, they're just going to be going for the same thing again. A very horizontal, flat push onto one side, and maybe a bit of pressure onto that big window from Fesk. And that's pretty much exactly what we're seeing here. On the east side of MVG, they are going to be playing a little bit of aggression over onto that side, as they do have the Wamai just kind of vibing on those stairs right now. Gets a bit of damage onto the Ash, but gets caught out through the wall from Afla, as Afla is going to be on that Armory Repel.
And it's a beautiful first opening kill, beautiful wallbang there for the side of Wii Sports. There's just one more player there towards Garage, or towards the top of the buff from the laundry stairs. And then it's Hakanio with a kill on Afla, bringing us back to a 4 versus 4 equal man count. But still, I believe that player downstairs, at least I thought I saw a player. I cannot see him at the moment. But yeah, there seems to be like still the mine. No, I'm not even sure who was playing downstairs. I thought I saw someone. Either way, Jouet getting a kill there, bringing us back to a 4 versus 3 advantage for Wii Sports once more, where the walls are first being opened. Layers of defensive material are being peeled off by the minutes, making it more and more difficult for members of MVG to play on site. There is a player downstairs. 2 even.
I need to do a handbrake.
2? There is.
Yeah, 2 players of MVG playing downstairs at the moment. One now rotating back from the back tower with a rotation towards the attic, easily making her way back towards side, but Fast just waiting for her to expose herself. She exposes herself. Yes, it's a headshot. He was just waiting for it. At the same time, MVG also lost the play. Sorry, it was Wii Sports also losing the player themselves, but still being an advantage with a 3 versus 2. And as we now approach the last minutes, it's really all eyes focused here on the side of MVG. We could really use some rounds here at this moment.
3 versus 2 is still good enough, as it gets a little bit more dire. Shanks loses his life, and now we're going to be seeing a bit of an engagement between this Ash and Jaeger, 2 operators that a few seasons ago were known as the Toxic Duo, and they're in a bit of a scuffle. One of them comes out on top. It's the Ash, and the Wii Sports move themselves forward even further this time, bringing themselves onto match point.
Yeah, match point, a great position for the members of Wii Sports to be in, because of course, like just a little bit of less stress on the shoulders right now. 3 rounds is all they need. Like in the upcoming 3 rounds, all they need is 1 round to win out of those. So they can afford a little bit of an error and a little bit of mistakes here. Of course, they want to close down the match as soon as they can. But for now, it's just a little bit more less stressful, a bit more positivity within the team, within the morale of the team. And for MVG, they know what they're up against. They know what they need to do. They have quite a bit of a challenge, but at least their target is very clear. They need to win the upcoming 3 rounds in a row, which will be tough, but definitely isn't impossible. And with the right kind of adjustments, they might just be able to do it either way.
Well, down to this basement defensive site. And I think more than likely MVG are going to be able to pull themselves out with a win on this, bringing us up to 6-4, but potentially that could be the last that they find if they're not careful. They do need to really push themselves here and bring a couple more rounds forward on a couple of these sites that are a bit less favorable for them. They have to win the next 3 in a row in order to get us, in order to take us to overtime, and a man going down that early of the Warden, especially one of your people that's designated in to the team comp to waste time, and be able to get these frags is not ideal.
No, that's absolutely anything else but ideal. But hey, MVG can still make it work. There's still 4 men left standing. We can easily they just need 1 kill to even things out, 2 kills to get to the leads. So MVG still is up for the challenge. They can still make it happen. But with so much ground control for the side of Wii Sports, they can just do whatever they want. They can open up hatches. They can take away lines of sight or open new lines of sight and just get loads of intel. And with all MVG members playing downstairs, there's just not too much they can do at this moment. Kai tricking being attempted with the second EMP nade, however, it is being countered. But then it is the Mosley getting 1 kill there on Weedy, bringing us back to an equal man count.
What are you doing, Weedy?
So things is technically still possible for MVG.
He just dropped his shield and he didn't have anyone behind him. That's such a throw.
Oh.
This could have been so free for the side of Wii Sports, but coming down the stairs anyway, they do manage to find themselves 2.
Triple.
That's going to be perfect. A triple kill for Duet as he manages to find that one as well. Almost a quad with a perfect flick as he does just try and take a bit of an aggressive stance onto this mirror. The Ash is going to fall, and now the Flores has just rotated himself all the way back. What do you call it? The Thatcher has rotated himself all the way back around onto that freezer side. It's now effectively a 1v1. 3 of the players on the side of MVG have already left, thinking that the game is all over and done with. It's going to be Havana versus Mirrors now. They come around and take a swing.
It was straight.
It's a defensive round. We might be seeing a rehost there.
Okay, I just want to take this moment. Shame on MVG. I don't know. Leaving your teammates in a match like this, in a situation like this, while he's still in play, giving every single bit of effort and energy that he has inside of him to clutch this out. But meanwhile, just leaving the match, leaving him all alone, just basically not showing any signs of believing in your teammates. That just sucks, man. And then just clutching it out. They should thank him for this. They should thank him for this. It's a 6-4 score. They still have a chance. Suddenly, the gap is like reduced from 3 to 2 rounds, and they're just leaving his teammate all alone. Shame.
I'm absolutely flabbergasted.
Yeah,
I'm blown away. That's actually incredible. Like they ditched their player in the final moments of the clutch, and he won a 1v4. Like that's insane.
Yeah, I don't have any good words for the team at the moment. Lots of good words for the Mira. I believe I just forgot whose player it exactly was.
Hakanino, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, just giving every single bit of energy without the team even supporting him as a single bit. That's just such a shame. And well, I'm happy that the release returning because of course they clearly didn't expect this to happen, but he still made it happen. So I hope that the team will actually have good words after this match to just talk through what just happened, because I don't think it should happen in the team. Yeah, either way, they should thank him for just giving them this other chance, and I hope that they will be able to make something out of it. Because yeah, there's just a golden ticket to still be able to win some further rounds and potentially bring this match to overtime.
Yeah, I'm still absolutely amazed. We're still waiting on the final player to get themselves back into the game. We did lose one of Wii Sports as well, but now they are all back and kicking as they are ready to get themselves going. We are just waiting for who are we waiting for?
Yeah, I'm afraid that the player might not be able to rejoin.
We're waiting. I have no idea. It's
yeah. I don't think he's able to rejoin. He might have abandoned the match. So that might mean that we actually do need to do a little rehost here, unfortunately, which sucks.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Also to the people commenting in chat on the Squirtle that's on my wall. There you go.
Yeah.
My uncle makes rugs, and I wanted a small rug of just like random things. I wanted something that suited me, and he went for Pokemon. And because it was a little one, like a little rug, I decided rather than just walking all over it and dirty, I'd just stick it on the wall.
I just realized. Yeah, so it's now just being confirmed. We're actually getting a little rehost here, unfortunately, as probably one of the players abandoned the match instead of just leaving it, which is just unfortunate. I mean, with a 6-4 score, I assume we're just going to resume the match after this quick rehost. So yeah, I think we can just take a little break and Nash so the match can be prepared, and then we'll be back as soon as the match is ready for you guys. So see you guys soon. And welcome back, everyone. After a relatively quick rehost, we're finally back with round 11 of this kind of tense match and very interesting match between these two teams. It's still Wii Sports versus Molotov Gang. I was about to say Molotov Gang Germany, but of course these days it's just Molotov Gang, as there's no longer two separate teams anymore. But hey, it's a 6-4 score. We just saw a very interesting clutch situation happening from the side of MVG, bringing themselves from a 6-3 to 6-4 score, potentially extending and potentially increasing the chances to still win this match, as they only need 2 more points to bring this match to an overtime. But for now, Wii Sports is still on the match point and only needs 1 more round to win this match.
I'm very, very surprised that we were able to come out of that with a quick and easy 1v4.
Yes.
That we had with Hakanino, managing to come out on top.
10 seconds to insertion.
That was absolutely insane. So moving forward into the rest of this game, I think there's going to be a similar level of confidence as this time around. He is going to be playing that Bandit. He's got an MP7 in hand alongside the 3-speed of the Operator. And, I mean, they're playing very aggressive on the side of MVG, like offsite, kind of hovering around all over the place and seeing if they can try and take any of these early engagements and secure any of them for themselves. Solace going to be on the board for the first time this game.
Yes, so that's a strong operator. We will now indeed see Captain Chaps luckily already being spotted out early here by the Gidlock, who's on the rappel on the armory window. Takes those out, throws the drone for potential bait, but no one there playing in the end, so at least can now continue to gather some further information. Most of the members of Wii Sports are already getting ready for a... Oh! Canino just continues. He fights fast, takes him out by a little sneaky run out. I would assume from Big Tower or somewhere in that direction. But it's a beautiful opening kill here from the side of MVG, just increasing their chances once more.
I'm pretty sure it was shower corridor.
Really Sorry?
I'm pretty sure he ran out of shower corridor.
Ah, shower corridor. Was it the... Oh no, I mean, yeah, sorry, I believe one. I thought no, but those are Gidlock died.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Like, Aganino is just having such a phenomenal game right now. After that previous round, now managing to find a quick and early spawn peek onto the ram that is going to be pretty powerful in trying to take any of this soft utility that is going to be on side. Camera and mute jam are going to be quickly dealt with and cleared out. Excuse me. By Weedy. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
The Weedy path was boring me apparently. But anyway, we move forward into the rest of the game. There is going to be that player on Attic alongside the bedroom window player or bedroom door player that is going to be this Jaeger. Does manage to get a little bit of damage onto the Flores as he tries to take the swing. Husky going to be just dropping back and keeping himself safe for the time being. Not very well protected on that door from those track stingers, but now Wii Sports have kind of stagnated.
Yeah, indeed. Just a bit of damage happening on Shanks, but at the same time, it's also Shinji losing his life to the Flores. It's now 4 versus 4 situation. Nades are being thrown from below, but not finding their target, unfortunately. With this 4 versus 4, 40 seconds remaining. This round is going to end in a very bloody way. Loads of casualties are going to happen in these upcoming seconds. 30 seconds on the clock. Attackers are making their way into the building, getting ready for potential plans, doing loads of damage there on the Bandit as well. Will Bandit and Jaeger extremely low in HP. One bullet will easily take them out. But with the Flores, the Ace still inside of the games. He can now finally go for the plants, attempt the plants. Finds 2 players of the offensive side, find the kill. Also Wii Sports for the kill. It's a 2 versus 3. Plants once again being attempted, but unfortunately being cancelled and denied by MVG. And yet again, MVG managed to increase their chances a little bit more by securing yet another round, 2 rounds in a row. And we now find ourselves in a 6-5 situation or score.
This might be the most insane comeback of the tournament so far.
Yes.
Like, this game could be game of the tournament.
Surely. Yeah.
Like, this is insane. Like, these group stages are very well sort of matched, I think, so far. Like, looking at this game in this group, these are the 2 top teams of the group, and I mean, the winner of this decides first place. The loser stays in second. Like, there isn't a lot on the line.
Yeah, and now with round 12 happening, this final round, or this 12th round is going to be very decisive, because either it is going to be the final round, like I was saying, or this will be the start of an overtime where the match will be extended by a maximum of 3 more rounds. So MVG currently on a 2-round win streak, making the dream work for themselves, or at least...
Oh, I'm stupid. Never mind. I forgot. Tracker Clan took first place.
Okay.
The winner of this game goes up into first. The loser just gets third. There isn't, like I said, there still isn't a lot to lose. But yeah. I think it's much more about like having that point to prove, trying to get that lead early before you make it into sort of the mid-range of the tournament. They're both going to be wanting to try and bring it forward, and I mean, in the sort of like mid-game of the group stage, you get into this position where you're kind of like your top is like very well separated from your bottom, and your first place, second place teams are pretty much secured throughout the rest of the games that they play. Almost very well played by that Monty there. Does manage to get a lot of damage onto Gorilla as he is just barricading over that door. And we are going to be seeing a bit of aggression coming out of bunkers as well.
Yeah, attackers mostly focusing here on the northern side of the map, big tower. That seems to be their focus point for this round. Trying to get control here over Attic, which is one of the key points here for the defensive side, as they can easily defend the bomb site from above, but also the backstage wall. That's likely one of the walls they want to be opened up. Jewett getting that first kill, taking out Shanks. That's the Jaeger of the members of MVG, taken care of. A 5 versus 4 in the advantage of Wii Sports. It has been some time since we did see an opening kill from Wii Sports, so will this be their round? It might just be, but we'll see how things go.
Very well might be, as now we do see, is it Mute or like Capcan by the looks of things, not Mute, that's going to be sitting behind that Kiba barricade. He's got very chunky legs, so I'm assuming it is going to be that Capcan that's sitting behind that Kiba barricade over there, and he's just going to be trying to take some swings over onto the Monty that's going to be pushing through that attic area. Fesk is going to be making his way through basement and seeing if he can make some plays onto these hatches. Then they're going to be singing through, but is it going to be singing true? Not quite. Doesn't find anything. I don't even think he destroys the Kiba barricade as Bunkers does manage to find himself a kill onto Afla, and now he's going to be moving his way forward down this green corridor, loses his life to the ace of Weedy, and Weedy just going to be trying to hold that angle over on towards that rotate. Shinji finds one onto Duet on the back lines, and now we're going to be left with these 3 remaining players going to be just all pushing the same area here, as the Monty has managed to catch himself out of castle.
Yeah, as Weedy Van Epp finds Gorilla, it's now 3 versus 2 situation with the final 30 seconds now approaching. Currently, the offensive side, the attackers in the lead, with just 2 defenders in the way. The Monty going for a very strong and planned attempt here to C4, however, being thrown might just cancel the defuse. Yes, he does cancel the defuse just in time, but Shinji unfortunately did lose his teammates and now find himself in a 2 versus 1 situation. The Finka, unfortunately, very unfortunate timing there for Shinji, looking away at the wrong moment, gets found, gets taken out, and it's Wii Sports securing that final round they have been looking for the past 3 rounds and securing this match with a 7-5 score.
Yeah, very well played. Wii Sports coming out of that 7-5, so obviously rocketing off into that first place position, managing to get themselves actually a point ahead of Tracker Clan, who were on 7, and these guys have gone from 5 to 8, as they have managed to get themselves the full 3 points, as everybody has so far today. So, looking at the scoreboard, obviously, as isn't going to be updated on the stream as of this very moment, but I'll quickly just run through it. We are going to be first place is Wii Sports. It's updated now.
It is updated. Yeah,
right.
I was about to see. Like I was seeing like play 3 for each team. Yeah.
We do have Wii Sports in that first place position, comfortably-ish, with 8 points, as Tracker Clan trailing closely behind with 7. We have 5 points on MVG and MDF. But, well, the round difference going to be making a difference and, well, bringing MDF into that 3rd place and MVG into 4th. 5th place is going to be owned so far by Underrated, and occupying the 6th position is going to be Crown Zero so far, as they do have 3 losses.
Yeah, and just remember, this is the 3rd week here for Group C, so there's only 2 more play days coming up here for Group C. So the scoreboard is kind of starting to take a shape. Technically, everything can still change. Even Crown Zero can still qualify for the 2nd stage of the Swiss stage. So everything is still possible, but as we're getting closer to that final 5th week, the group is starting to take more and more shape. But yeah, that makes the upcoming 2 weeks very, very interesting and thrilling, in my opinion.
Yeah, very much so. We are just looking at in general a very good play day. I really enjoyed that final match. It was very close, and I mean, MVG definitely had a shot of being able to take that for themselves, and I think MVG are going to be a very powerful team coming into the later end of these play days. They're going to be against Tracker Clan in the next week, alongside MVG being not MVG, alongside Wii Sports being against Crown Zero and MDF being against Underrated in the next week. So yeah, that's going to be very good. And there was something that we were going to be bringing up about Group D, as Playday 1 wasn't played because of the service.
Yeah,
Take
so
it away.
indeed. Yeah, so indeed for Group G, like back in the very first play day of ESA Cup Season 7 on Sunday, unfortunately there were some server issues over at Ubisoft, which in the end caused us not being able to play the full play day at all. So for that reason, the play day 1 of Group G was postponed till a later moment, with yet the date unknown till now, because now we actually know that the first play day of Group G is going to be played on the 11th of November, 11/11. Funny dates, but that's on a Saturday, so a bit of a unique one to have a stream on a Saturday or match day on a Saturday. But on Saturday, the 11th of November, is when Group D is going to catch up with their first play day. And since we're talking about Group D anyway, we're going to be back here on this channel on Wednesday. It's also going to be you and me, but we're going to be back with Group D for the third play day, or technically second. I mean, it's third, but yeah, on the scoreboard it will be the second. But yeah, we'll be back on Wednesday, you and me. So make sure to tune in on Wednesday for Group D Playday 3. So for now, Nash, unless you have anything else to say, we can say goodnight to all viewers.
Shout out to my rejects. That's all I got to say. If you want to see more from me, go to twitch.tv/Nash. Thank you. Love you.
Okay. And then for now, I just mostly want to thank also Piercing, of course, earlier was the here casting, after which I took over for this final map. Thank you for casting, and then also Stucky as our observer, and Void as our producer for tonight, and also, of course, all the teams and all our viewers. Thank you for being here. I hope to all see you in the next few days. Have a good evening.